What's going on, everybody? Listen, the biggest storyline that nobody is talking about is going to be presented to you right here live on the Post Podium Podcast. Let's go.
Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we about to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716, make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and Hits. Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo don't make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo won't make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes, and now the home, the voice of the critical thinking fan. We got to say that officially now because we've said it and people took it, and now we got it. So anyway, long story short, I'm your co-host, Aramis.
40 Keys. What's up, y'all?
40 Keys in the building. Listen, this is a grandiose event happening today. This episode from now on is brought to you by the Built in Buffalo Network. Big shout out to Dave Myers and everybody else at the Built in Buffalo Network. Thank you so much for having us on. We look forward to everything we're going to do together here on out. With that being said, let's do roll call. Of course, I got the call-in line link sent out before anybody else could get in here, including Weston. Including you, Weston. I made sure to get that in because I know you coming for me with this built-in buff with this Believe in Bean Island mess.
Mess, yes.
I'm trying to be nice.
No, you don't have to be nice. It's okay.
J-Han, what up? Videsh, what up? Slim Nady, what up? ATL, what up? Laura's here for a short period of time. What's going on, girl? Iro, what up? What up? Nady, what up? We got plenty more people coming in soon, I'm sure of it. Let's start off how we usually do, bro.
You go first because I'm starting off with a lagging computer. So,
are you serious? Oh my!
It's doing what it does. You know.
It's on the older.
It's all right. It's like me.
I got a new one coming for you.
No, don't worry about it. It's like me. I can work with this. I'm a little older, a little slower. I get going as we get going. Yeah, I got it. Got to get the oil in there.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'll go first. So just for those of you that are joining us fresh for the first time here, how we usually do it is we just kind of start off talking about the weekend. I mean, we've only been doing one show a week for the last month.
Too long, man.
I know,
too long.
Way too long.
Way
too long. Weird weekend though. Like it. I don't remember much about it. Like it just flew by.
It went by. Yeah,
it really flew by. It was kind of crazy. But we did go to Canal Fest.
Yep.
Which was good and bad at the same time.
When'd you go?
Huh?
When'd you go?
We went Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, we went Thursday. And what was, I know we talk, weekend, all that, and I'm talking about a Thursday.
No, that's fine. Cause I mean, it went into the weekend.
Pretty much. It set the tone for the weekend, I guess.
Boom.
Right. So what was weird about it was, first and foremost, Canal Side, where they put it at now in North Tonawanda over there, just past Veterans Park, it's up River Road. You don't like it?
No.
Really?
No.
I think it's way better than being in the middle of the street.
Not like the street. It's like a big block party.
Because you're a street.
Yeah, it's like a big block party.
No, there's not enough space for it.
They downsized it too. They downsized dramatically.
Yeah, but
that's the problem.
They're just coming back. See, this was my thought. I think with where they put it, being alongside the water, much more scenic, very beautiful setting for that carnival fair, whatever it is, for it to be at, right? Festival. And I think with them being, because I don't think they did this when they were on the streets before, but they had like daytime events too. They had like a kids Olympics and stuff like that.
Okay.
Right.
See, this is the gotcha. I don't know if you knew this or not, but you know why they moved over there?
No.
Embezzlement. Somebody stole a lot of money from there. So they couldn't have fireworks last night. They had to shrink the size of the festival. They couldn't have some of the vendors. They didn't have the entertainment. They had to cancel that because they didn't have money. They had no money.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so they had to move it because they had beef with the old establishment. So I don't know if they're going to go back or what, but that was something they had to do. They got together at the last minute. So it wasn't something they planned. It wasn't something they really wanted. It was just out of necessity. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be sad if they move it back to the street. I'm just telling you right now.
They stole a large sum of money because I mean, you know, they had the stand with the music and all that stuff. And for people that aren't in Buffalo, this is a Tonawanda event, which is a suburb of Buffalo. They usually have like rides and vendors and food and music and fireworks and laser light show.
Yeah, that
was new.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty
Oh,
good.
you liked it?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a little bit of it. My wife wanted us to stay to watch it, right? So we were ready. Me and the kids were ready to go at like 9:00, and she was like, "No, I want to see the laser
Debbie
light
Downers,
show." Okay,
yeah.
fine, right. So we stayed, and I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, and I guess I expected a little bit more. Like it was just kind of like just laser beams all in, like it didn't make any shapes or anything like
Darien
that.
Lake one?
No.
Okay.
See, like the Darien Lake one, like that's what I was thinking it was gonna be. You know, make some Buffalo related shapes or something like that, like something cool to watch, right? But it was more concert laser show-ish, I guess. And they played, you know, music
Tried to make it go with it. They did the best they could.
Right. So it kind of made sense, right? So I get that.
Yeah.
But Weston, go home, bro. Go home.
He's telling Roy to go home. Roy's like, no. But you know, I think it was. T said they had a lot less rides. I think they just had a lot of different rides. Because they had the pirate.
Did she go?
We went yesterday.
Oh, okay. Cool.
They had the pirate. They had, you know, then they added that tower that drops and this, that, and third. So Ken got his little bracelet. He got the ride. You know, he got on a couple with him. But you know, for me, I know better. Because what they do is they don't tell you. Luckily for me, on the Top Gun, before you buy the stuff, it says 77 inches or lower. Yeah. So that told me right there, I'm out. Thank God. Thank you for telling me.
You've been out on pretty much every ride. Yeah, that I've
snuck
ever
on
seen.
a couple.
Really?
Oh yeah, went on with y'all. I had to sneak on something to get my money's worth. The Mind Eraser, I'm too tall for. And that one.
Which one did you get on with us?
The Mind Eraser. I got on that, and I got on that bench that flips upside down and does all sorts of stuff. But I had to squeak down and slide past. I'm like, I'm not gonna fall out of this. But see, when I was a kid, you could do the Superman.
Right.
Can't do it no more because of the person that fell out of it. Yeah. But they don't realize that dude wasn't he wasn't all here. He was special. So
what does that mean?
No, he was special. The guy that jumped out of the Superman. Why they have a height requirement on it now?
No,
they say he fell out of it.
Oh, he jumped out of it?
He unstrapped himself.
How do you do that?
He's special.
No, but you stop telling me he's special.
Well, because the Mind Eraser, not the Superman only has that lap thing.
I know, but like, how did he get it up?
You don't have to, because there's a seatbelt too. Remember, there's a seatbelt and the lap thing. So if you undo the seatbelt, you're gonna slide out of it by virtue of.
So what you're telling me is you've never sat in a roller coaster and had that bar pushed all the way down into into the bottom of your groin. Like you've never experienced that.
I'm 6'6". The thing doesn't go past my legs.
When they push that thing down, it's like for some reason they're trying to jam me in the privates. Like
they probably are.
I don't understand why they have to push it down that far.
I wish they did, but no.
Let's get to the super chat here from Marcus before we go too far off here. Oh, let's get that up a little bit. Appreciate you. Marcus says, salute fellas in the chat. To those ugly jerseys.
We don't get to, go ahead. We don't get to all that.
Yeah, much to talk about.
You got to understand, I'm trying to hash this out so that we don't ruin your time to talk about the jerseys and helmets and all other stuff with, breaks in the show, because I know we're going to need a lot of time for that. So I will make it real fast and talk about my weekend real quick. What we did was we had a cookout on Saturday. Okay. I tried to smash in the Canal Fest and the cookout. Didn't work because the cookout, I had to go buy sides because I didn't have time to cook. When was I going to do that? So I bought sides. T told me I didn't have enough. So we went and doubled down. I kept going to stores. I don't know how much I spent. Don't want to know. I'm not looking at that statement. And we get to the thing and everybody, I had my size. My cousin did the grilling. I didn't know if she could cook or not, but evidently nobody died, got sick. So it worked out. But we had too many sides, so people were taking buckets of stuff home. And I'm like,
and I know how y'all cook too. Y'all cook for a family of 17.
Why does everybody say that,
bro?
Yeah,
go ahead.
My mom says the same thing. She's like, you guy, woo. When I go to the grill, but yeah, that's
not a lie. That is not a lie.
No, it's true, and it's only usually 4 of us at the grill. So, but yeah, no, it worked out. My cousin made this tequila grapefruit tequila punch that everybody drank. Nobody really got drunk off of. My mom drank 3 cups, so that's how I knew it was nothing in it because my mom don't drink. You know, but it was a good turnout. It was a nice turnout. It was our first cookout that we tried. I'm the second oldest man on that side of the family, and because of that, we had it at. She's a second oldest woman. My mom is the oldest in the family. I know, Mom, bill me. But you know, but with my uncle passing this in February, he was 98. So with him going, I'm like, dang, we got to, because he used to always throw them. He had at somebody's house, and he paid for everything, and they come over and fellowship, eat. And you know, Ken being almost 10, I'm like, you got to know who your people are. You got to know your family, and you're the youngest by far. So it's time for you to not walk past them in the streets and say, I don't know this person, I don't know that person. So let's do it. It was good. It was good first one. We're gonna do it again next year, I'm sure. At least now we know what to expect, and we'll do better with inviting people because I didn't know what to expect either. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna invite more folks and go from there. But that was cool. Canal Fest was okay. I wish they would have put the seats closer to more of the rides. They had like the central seating area, and then there was nothing over by the rides. There was nothing over by, you know, the main area where you park / the grandstand. Yeah. You had to bring your own chairs. I'm like,
yeah, that was tough.
Like, what about the old heads? She's like, you're not an old head. I'm like, I wasn't just talking about me. Yeah. I'm talking about everybody.
You know you're getting old when you get over by where the Ferris wheel was and you see those big lawn chairs that are over there by the water, and you just fantasize about sitting at them.
I mentioned that.
Just watching the water flow.
When they were in line for that, in that Polar Express, that spinny thing, that line was a mile long. I said, I'm going to go take y'all stuff and go sit over there. But I said, you know what? I won't. I'll stand here and watch.
That's why we went on Thursday. See? We didn't want to have to deal with all that. So we thought it through. We was like, we better go when it's not going to be busy at all.
And your wife's pictures always make everything so extravagant. I know nothing was nowhere near what her pictures look like.
She's good at what she does.
She's very good. I'm like the angles, got Raven like a model, got Allie like, yeah. And then you over there like, but then you go there, you're like, this ain't what the picture looked like.
Did she post the picture with all the white sugar all over my shirt?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, bro. I had the best fried dough I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Yes, for sure. And and it was just regular. They didn't do anything extravagant, but it was just fresh. It took it right out of the oil, put the you know what I'm saying, the cinnamon, the sugar on it. And I'm just like destroying me and Ray, my youngest son.
You ain't getting that sugar.
No. But like the wind was blowing at the same time. So I'm trying to eat this thing and it's like blowing all over my face. So I'm trying to like wipe my face with my forearm and all that kind of stuff and walk and follow them where they're going. It was a delicious nightmare.
Good thing you didn't go like do that, because he'd be like, oh snap. You on that stuff?
That's what Caitlin said. She was like, you got a little bit of something right here. Hurry up and get that off right now. Right. I got lockjaw. Walking around the festival with lockjaw. Can you imagine me with a wife and 2 kids walking around with lockjaw? We would get through every single line, and people would just be like, "Go ahead, go ahead."
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take the kids. It's fine. I get it.
Oh my god!
But yeah, I did have the turkey leg, the $20 turkey leg. I do that all the time. I don't know why the thing's like this big. I'm just having a ball.
Can't help
with
it.
Oh
yeah.
She's like, I don't like it. Kid's like, I'm used to it. This is what yours said. I know it's not my son. No, it's not my son. I appreciate the compliment, but it is not at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you have that'll last for 15 minutes?
I mean, we can always. So the reason we say 15 minutes, we got Dave Myers coming on with us at 6:00 to talk about I'll call it the joining, I guess. And other stuff. He's gonna hang out with us for a little bit. But listen,
our regulars say no. Laura said you be on that powder. The powdered sugar. Oh wait, we falling apart.
Are we? Oh,
on that powdered sugar.
Do that. Yeah.
And they said be looking like Chappelle.
Need some crack, baby. Need some crack, baby.
For you guys that haven't watched the show, there's 160 in there right now. We kind of try to give people a chance to get in.
Yep.
So we tell our stories, and so don't cancel us yet.
Yeah.
Forgive us. We just trying to let everybody hear the goodness of PPP as an offer.
And as you can see, much more people filled into the chat here. Mm-hmm. So I think we're good to go here. Let's give the people what they want, and let's go with.
We'll treat them right.
That bad boy right there.
Oh, I'm glad you did that.
Let's do it.
Because this is going to be longer than 15 minutes.
Okay, that's fair. Let's do it.
Okay.
What you got?
This was actually part of a bigger thing I had. I'm reading from my phone right now, which is quite unprofessional of me. Wait a minute. Give me a shot. You go ahead at
All
first because I wanted to. Matter of fact, no. Let me stop bouncing back and forth and see if it'll load because I actually wanted to read this for everybody.
Okay.
I do have it. Okay.
All right, go for it.
Nickel City. I'm the special one. He allows me to be great sometimes. Nickel City alternate uniform, the charging helmet, which is point A. Can you make that? Oh, that's bigger for them. It brings the charging buffalo to life with the horn, eye, and charged streak displayed on the blue shell with the micro metallic flake finish and metallic blue accents, boasting a mindset of energy, strength, and attack. Okay, hold your applause to the end. Okay, so the nickel gray foundation, utilizing the existing brand color, we pull inspiration from the steel mills, grain elevators, and rail yards, which are foundations to our region's place in history. Blue collar, literally the blue collar, a tribute to the blue collar workers of the past and present who present the strength, work ethic, and authenticity of our city. The love chest charging buffalo. Let's see, position close to the heart. Thinking. Let's see, yeah, position close to the heart. It represents the love that we have for our team and the pride for so many Bills legends have shown. Not OJ. Okay. I had to. Tone on tone striping with the exact striping. The exact stripe weighs and what is this? I can't even see. I don't know. I can't read. And ratios is our primary uniform. These tonal stripes are formed under extreme pressure. Whatever. That's an iron.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
It's there. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Extreme pressure is a sign of strength and durability. Gold bills inside the collar. You'll only see that when Josh Allen gets horse collared at some point. The preferred way to salute Bills Mafia out in the wild. Okay. You have any thoughts right quick? Because I have a couple. And I don't know if mine's going to take us somewhere else, but you go.
Okay. Let me just say this. I think and we've been kind of saying this for a while now. The Bills in general have been talking to the wrong people when it comes to their focus groups.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they're getting this information from. I don't know who these faithful Bills fans are that keep convincing the front office and the people who make the decisions that this is what they want to see. I will say this. I think if we had blue pants with this uniform, it might be received a little bit better and like actual color stripes on the side because the blue is nice. I'll say I like the helmet design. The stripe may be a little bit too big for me, right?
It goes all the way to the back too. That's what's up. All the way around.
I don't think I needed that, but sure. Okay. But here's where I think it gets kind of crazy for me. And tell me if you knew this.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that was an eye under the charging stripe on the helmet.
I still haven't seen it. Let me take a look.
It says right there in the little.
I know it does. When I read it, I'm like,
where's the eye? But it's that little extra hook thing on the like up under the. Right. So when I saw that, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if this gets like the idea behind the uniform doesn't come through in the way that they think it does. Right. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, a nickel is silver. Right. It like in finish, in color, in essence, mm-hmm. It's got a metallic finish. This jersey has none of that. Right. It may have some of that in the stripes, but you're barely going to see that when they're down on the field unless you're getting close ups in between plays. So I would have liked a little more thought put into how this is going to be viewed on TV, how this is going to be viewed from afar, and maybe a little bit more of an update in style, right? And I think this is where my thought comes in. No, I'm serious.
No, I'm laughing at the comment here. What? I'm sorry, people, for the language, but.
Yo, okay. Thank you for that. Thank you, because that's the tone of the show. That's just what we are.
He said all salt, all truth, no sodium. So
that's it. That is it. But I think what Bills fans have been crying for is a really nice stylized meshing of old with new, right? And what the Bills did in the 2000s was they immediately went to, well, this is the future. So we're just going to go all dark blue, red helmet with black in the middle of the stripe, which made no sense. The color scheme made no sense at all, right? I like, and this is weird, I like the away jerseys there with the red helmet, the white with the navy blue up top. But the style of having that big square around the neck and the color of the numbers being a lighter blue, that was different from it. Like, you got two shades of blue on the same jersey. It's just weird, right? And my point in bringing those jerseys up was that was too far of a jump into the future. Same as the red and black Sabres jerseys, right? And what happened with the Bills franchise is they said, okay, let's go back to a more traditional style look. Well, they took it all the way back to the 1960s. So then we started dealing with Standing Buffalo and the AFL jerseys, jersey throwbacks, and that whole, wave in the NFL. And we have the jerseys that we have now. And people are thinking like, yo, what we have now would look so dope with a red helmet. Just bring us the red helmet back from the 90s, and now we got a complete look. It's an updated version of an era of football that happened to be the best in Bills history, right? What better way to celebrate the fans and the faithfulness through the drought, but to give us something that we're asking for, right? And so for me, it like not getting, not getting that, and then getting what you've been asking for forever, which is blue helmet.
I was about to say, I don't really know what you're talking about, because one, I don't care about the jersey. The helmet, yes.
I'm not mad at it. I just, like, if you're going to go that far with the helmet design, then you got to give us something else in the jersey. Because you're missing an opportunity, a great opportunity at that, with the opening of the new stadium, to have a jersey that people would be willing to spend hundreds of dollars on. This ain't it. It's not it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. That's one of my thoughts. I knew this was going to go further because I know how you feel about this kind of thing.
Well, I got more on this, but I want to hear.
I got a whole bunch. I got a whole bunch as well. I see. We got company, so I'm gonna make it as fast as possible until we get company, and I'm gonna stay it all over again. No, I'm joking. But this is my thing. You notice what they kept, the underlying theme. The underlying theme is tribute to the history. Tribute. I'm not gonna say the word, but you know the F word. I'm talking about the history. My uncle, who I just talked about, was a season ticket holder for 40 plus years. 98 passed. That's a dying breed now. That team that watched the AFL, the team that, if you're still here and you watched it, I'm not counting your days. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm doing. But what I'm saying is, they talk about the industry. Who here remembers Bethlehem Steel? Raise your hand. No? Oh, because it was gone before I was born. I was born 42 years ago.
You want to know what the top 5 industries in Buffalo are?
I have that. I have it. But this is part of a bigger thing. I looked up. I said, okay, so when has Buffalo not been any of the stuff that they described? The peak of industrial Buffalo was 1950s. Okay, 1959 saw the seaway opening, diverting shipping travel away from Buffalo. 1959 away. For you guys that are 70 plus, what were you doing in 1959? Eating graham crackers. Yes, I know this to be true. 1960 through 1980s, shuttering. That's the topic of that bracket.
Yep.
Major corporations, aerospace firms, steel operations, steadily closed and relocated. 1980, that's 46 years ago. And even older.
It's before the Super Bowl years.
Way before Super Bowl. We're still talking about, people that most people don't even know who was on the team anymore.
Right.
So let's fast forward to what you were going to say. This is my point. Buffalo, as we stand right now, are known to be what? Cutting edge.
Yep.
Cutting edge people. But instead, let's go back to the blue collar. Most people here, most guys get their fingers manicured. They get polished now because I don't manicure, but I'm a computer worker now for the most part.
Yep.
Healthcare, financial, high-tech manufacturing, high-tech, significant contributions in life science and education.
Yep.
None of that is blue collar. Why do we still want to be known as blue collar? Let's evolve. And that's kind of why when you said the good old people, I'm like, because that's kind of what they're trying to do. They don't not in the way you're saying it, but they think We're giving them history, nostalgia, because this kind of is a nod to the past. We don't care about the past anymore. I'm not saying that we want to ignore the advancements that occurred in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, let's tie into what the Buffalo Bills and what Buffalo as a city is these days. Because the boys on the field, they're not from Nebraska anymore. And I don't mean that as white. I'm talking about big, slow guys, big, strong guys, white, black, whatever. Now you got these Florida boys, these Texas boys. They fly.
Yep.
Max Harrison, 4.2 speed. Christian Benford, 4.5, and he's one of the slow people on the team. Dorothy, that wasn't a slight. But my point is, these guys are flyers now.
Yeah.
You know, these are some of these dudes could be stars, and that's why I like the point to the open for your thumbnail was, because that's going to delve into the transition from the red, white, and blue helmets of Phil Hansen's and those guys to now these dudes that want to move and groove, that I'm excited to watch with the new coach that better show up, because Mr. Somebody's gone.
Well,
go ahead.
Before we get to that, let's bring Dave onto the stage here. Dave, what's going on, man? How you been? Uh-oh, we can't hear you. Wait. No. Okay, I unmuted you.
We good now?
We hear you.
I didn't want to get in the middle of that heated debate, man. Good stuff. No. How you guys doing? Like, this has been forever. We've been trying to do this, man. And I'm finally glad that it is here and we can move forward. And I'm just excited to have you guys on the network. Like, it's going to be fun. It's going to be big time.
Yeah, definitely agree. Very excited to do this. I think we had been trying to like set a date and figure that out. And in the midst of everything I got going on, I put that on myself more than anybody. But it's really hard to like nail things down sometimes. But we're here and we're loving every second of it. And we really appreciate you for having us.
Oh, I appreciate you guys. I mean, I've been watching you guys from afar for a while. And I think when I approached you, I think we both understood kind of what we both wanted to do, like what you guys want to do with your show, what I kind of saw for the direction of the Built in Buffalo network, and not to get too far into the weeds, but I thought it would be a perfect match. I think the marriage between what you guys do and our fan base, I think it's fantastic. Plus, I love what you guys do. Like, you guys have an amazing show. The presentation's always good. The topics are always good. Content's great. So I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it. So
appreciate that. While we have you here, we're gonna have you dive into the pool with us.
Rapid fire question.
Oh boy,
I'm joking.
Bring it. No, bring it.
Let's get your thoughts on the uniform, man. Like, that's the hot topic right now. Everybody's been talking about it all day long. How do you feel about it?
You know, when I saw the stuff going around in the spring, like all those like leaks or whatever they were, like, I'm like, that can't be, because first off, it had the logo on the shoulder, or it was on the chest, right? I'm like, they're not going to do that. And then you kind of look more into it and you're like, I don't get the silver on the sleeves, like the blue collar. Okay, cool. We like he was just saying, like, okay, we've been blue collar for 70 years. Like, okay, fine. The helmet I'm okay with. I'm not opposed to the helmet that much, but the gray is just boring to me. Like, let's light it up. Let's light it up. Like, I understand back in the 60s that Ralph Wilson was a huge Detroit fan, and that was kind of why they had gray uniforms back then. But I don't know. I think they just kind of got lost in the whole everybody's got to have a new uniform every single year. Like Keys was saying, like, give me the red helmet. Like, if we want to symbolize the past of Buffalo Bills glory days, give me the red helmet with everything else we already got. Throw the standing Buffalo in there, the all whites, the all blues. Get rid of the all red color rush, because that's garbage. But like, I think they overthought it, and I don't know, man. Like, I like the helmet's kind of growing on me a little bit. The more photos I see of it and what it's gonna look like if they wear it like in prime time with the lights on it and stuff, I think it's cool. But the gray, to me, it's boring. It's just boring. Like, Nickel City, okay. What if you look at that uniform? What says Nickel City? Because it's somewhat silver. Like, how does that represent Nickel City? You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. It is what it is. It's probably a money grab. And
oh yeah, for sure. You see how much those jerseys cost?
Oh yeah, and I was only disappointed because I wanted something cool that I could buy. Like, I want gear to add to my collection. Like, that's. You know what I mean? Like, so it is what it is. They're going to wear them twice. I guess that came out, that they're not going to wear them once. They're going to wear them twice, which probably means either we're not getting the standing Buffalo or we're not getting the red helmet, because they obviously have to do the rivalries. So I don't know. I'm not super thrilled with it. I'm kind of a creature of like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And we had red helmets that everybody wants. And I just kind of feel like they're kind of tone deaf to the fan base. Like they put the stuff out, and I don't want to go too far in this, but they put the stuff out about the tailgating.
No,
and
you go into it because I wanted to get into it. Honestly, go into it.
They put all the stuff out about the tailgating and all that, and then they put a big 20-foot broken table inside the concourse. Like, so you're telling us you like what we do, but you don't want us to do it. You know what I mean? Like everywhere, and you got to think that they have people out there on social media that are kind of, you know, what's the pulse of the Bills fans right now? Like, what's the pulse? And I think you guys both said before I came on, like, this is a new generation that we are like enlisting into Bills Mafia. Like the people that were like kids when the Bills were, you know, in their heyday are now parents, which are now going to usher in another generation. So I don't know, like the red helmets is what everybody's been asking for years and years and years. Just give it to us. And they did last year, and they put it in week 18 in a meaningless game against the Jets. And we didn't even get to really see Josh play with them with the helmet on. So I don't know, give us that. And I think everything else will be fine. So I don't know.
Yeah. I was going to say, you know, what you said was perfectly in line with one of my topics here going into the show. Maybe the second last statement you said, when you said tone deaf to the fans. I want this to be known finally. This is the final nail in the coffin for me that they don't give a damn about the fans and what they have to say. So people out there that want to boycott or do this and think they're not, because think about it. PSLs. Think about Pagula's presser. He pretty much said, right on you guys. Moving the training camp practices around, shortening them. What else we have? The format of the blue and red, which was already the format. It's just nobody cared because it wasn't a new stadium, so nobody knew. But I don't think they're opening up the full stadium, all the seating for this. So my suggestion would have been, don't have the secondary practice, because that makes it look like we're placating to somebody that the peasants get to do something. And people are like, why do you get to sit in my seat? I don't get to see a real game yet. So they could have just opened up the rest of the seating, whatever it is, if they didn't do that already, and have the standing room areas and this and there, and you get a ticket with your seat on it. So you have to sit in your seat, but you know, they'll work it out somehow. I know, because some people only have one ticket, whatever. So you got to kind of work around that. Mm-hmm. But you know, these jerseys, some of the hires, some of the player acquisitions, people have been screaming for this, that, and third, and they're not doing anything that people have said. You know, fire McDermott, fine. That's one thing that people wanted and they got it. But I have never seen such vitriol to this team, towards this team, in since the drought years. I mean, this is a level that we haven't seen in forever. And I wanted to get to it while Tom, you're still here, so stick around because you know what it is.
I need to see what this is now.
I think you know in a heart of heart.
Okay. Right.
I know. Well, Dave might not know, but he'll
find out.
He'll figure it out. So yeah, I think when you said, you know, the being out of touch with the fan, I think it's by design. They're like, we got your money now. We got you to buy in, because I don't know if you're in the stocks into second, third, but there's something called smart money and regular retail. Smart money is like industries, people that move the stocks, and the retail people just jump on for the ride. And when they get these PSLs, when they get the guys paying $10,000 just to be able to buy a seat, $20,000 to be able to buy a seat for another $5,000, $6,000, they're like, I don't care about you little people, because I got what I needed, which is the money.
Right.
I'm putting a product out there for you. You're going to come and see it. You're going to buy these $400 jerseys, and you're going to hush.
Yeah. I think this is the conundrum, though, because the way you would handle this kind of situation where a business is just completely out of touch with its customers or its clients or whatever, however you want to call it. Usually the people that are supporting the business just start to pull their money away. Right. But what's the threat that we hear every single time? We heard it when the stadium negotiations were going on. Okay, well, if you don't want to pay $1.8 million or billion, I think it was billions, something like that, towards, you know, the new stadium, well, then we'll just move down to Austin, right? And that gets held over us every single time. And what I've been trying to say, I guess, for the last 3 years is, at some point, we need to call their bluff. And I'm not asking for a total just overhaul of like, let's just get the owner out of here and start fresh or whatever the case is. We don't need to do that. But in terms of how we send a message by what, you know, with what we buy. right? We send a message with where the money goes. If we don't want these types of jerseys to be out there anymore, don't buy it. Right? If we don't want PSLs to be as high as they are, don't pay for them. Yeah, like when we talked to Mac about this, he told us about the process where they want to meet with you. They bring you into their offices and you do a little mini tour of, you know, what the new stadium is going to look like and what your seat is going to look like. You do the virtual tour and all that kind of stuff. They take you through this sales process to get you comfortable with the direction of your seating, right? And in all of that, there's a lot of marketing language. There's a lot of neuro-linguistic programming language that's built into how things get sold to Bills fans. We've talked about this on our show for 3 years, basically since we've been doing it. I've been trying to get that message across. Like the language that the Bills use towards us is on purpose. The fact that they put "Go Bills" on the inside of the collar instead of Nickel City on the outside of the jersey to actually make clear what it's about is it has a purpose. Everybody's familiar with "Go Bills," so they put that on the jersey. So when you see it, oh, "Go Bills!" We like you said, we're not even gonna see that on TV. So why does that matter?
It doesn't. Right?
Exactly, and that's my point. They do specific things for very specific reasons that are designed to open us up to what? To spend money, right? And it's not wrong because every business is designed to do that, but we don't have to fall for the bad decisions is what I'm saying. We can support the team. We can follow the team. We can go to games. We can do all that stuff when they're doing what we want them to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm not in any way, shape, or form telling you to go or not go picket, cross the picket line, be a scab, none
Correct.
of that stuff. But what I am saying is what you don't do, somebody else will. So take it as it is.
Yeah.
Just go for the ride. You know, Dave, what do you think? I know you just took a swig. My bad.
No, you're good. I think a lot of the stuff that we talk about Terry Pegula, and I don't know how much you guys follow the Sabres. I'm assuming you guys pay attention to the Sabres and what just happened this past year, right? I'm you know. So when he bought the Bills, I think that in that man's heart of heart, he said, I saved this franchise for Buffalo. And I think it's still there. And I think that he knows deep down that no matter what I give these people, it doesn't matter. Terry Pegula is not an NFL owner. He is a businessman. He has people in that building that are doing the football stuff for him. We saw him sit at a press conference and just he yucked that whole press conference up. It was terrible. It was a shit show. Pardon my French. It was embarrassing that man is a multi-billionaire and he owns this team and he can't even put two sentences together without Brandon Beane looking at him like, dude, just shut up, man. Like, please just stop talking. So like, I agree with what you guys said. Like they know they have a fan base that doesn't matter what you do. We're going to be loyal no matter what you do until it's to a point where we just can't stand it anymore, which I don't think it's going to be there anytime soon. It was for the drought. For 17 years, it was bad. Like, there were fans that were just frustrated. And now it's like, well, you got Josh Allen. You got a brand new stadium. You got, you know, all these PSLs. You got money coming out the wazoo. Like, they could charge whatever they want for tickets. They don't care. Somebody's going to buy them and go to games. Somebody's going to buy. I went on the NFL shop after they released the stuff this morning. This is the most hideous merchandise I've ever seen. Everything is, they just took stuff that was gray and put Bills logos on it or Go Bills. And like, nobody who wants that. Someone's going to buy it though, right? Someone's, like you guys were saying, like somebody's going to buy that. So until, and what's kind of sad is like, I said earlier, I don't know if they have the pulse of the fan base. Like maybe they don't care. Like if the backlash was 75% today that these are hideous, or it's been that way because of the leaks and stuff. And then you have the stuff about the free practice. And then you have all the tailgating rules that are coming out and all this other stuff. I don't think they care. I don't think Terry Pegula cares. I really don't. So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's you're good. That's it.
I was going to say, because you mentioned the tailgating rules. The funny thing about the tailgating, I don't know if you guys know, I can kind of rattle off some of what you're talking about. I do have it here. But the rules are as follows. Let's see. We have a prohibition on sales, so fans are not allowed to sell food or drinks in the tailgating areas. Grilling restrictions. Specific guidelines dictate how and where to grill or where grilling can occur. Tent and speaker systems. There are restrictions on the size and type of tents and speakers allowed. Parking regulations. Designated parking areas have specific rules to ensure safety and order. Now, this is what hits home. Dave, are you local Buffalo or no?
No, I'm in California. I'm from Buffalo, but I'm in California.
Okay, yeah. So you do know the layout. So this is where I was getting at, because I know for a fact, the chefs, the guys who wear the chef hats, they literally cook in the parking lot for a bunch of people. They sell out. They sell ahead of time. They take orders. They give you tickets. You pay like $25 a head, and you get into this tailgating experience. And they serve you, play music. They got TVs going. And the first thing I thought about was them, because I'm like, oh snap, these guys are season ticket holders. I know them very well. They're season ticket holders. McDermott used to go to their tent before and after the game himself to get barbecue. Mm-hmm. It's funny that everything McDermott did or had his hand in, like, bye. Because you could have did, because the team knows about these guys. They're a fixture. They're in the M&T commercials.
Yeah.
So why are you alienating these guys or these kind of? They're just doing too much. Yep. Way too much at one time. It's like, I saw it coming, because, with the prices in new stadium, by virtue of just being a new stadium, it's going to go up. You're going to price out some of the people that go there and do crazy things, the table people and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The thing about how dirty it was down there with the beer cans and this and that, they're all over the place. It's askew. They're not going to put that around this stadium. They're not going to put it anywhere near the stadium. And where the old stadium was, they don't know what they're going to do, the parking lot, or if it's going to be a hall of honor, fame, whatever, or some kind of event station. They don't know. But you're not going to be taking a leak in the bushes over here anymore. You're not going to be drinking a whole 30 pack of Busch Lights over here. I don't drink Busch Lights, by the way. No, doesn't right does.
No, everything you drink is much harder.
Oh. But the thing is, when you look at how they. J-Ham, that's Cuzzo, just in case you guys don't know, J-Ham is Cuzzo. But yeah, you look at how they talk about the culture, the history, but you're eradicating all the culture and history.
Yeah. You're
eradicating OJ. Whatever, we're not going through that again, but you're eradicating the tailgating as we know. You're eradicating, you have to have the grill a certain height off the ground. How many times you've driven through and you've seen smoldering embers on the ground in the parking lot?
Oh, yeah.
That's no more. There's no more. So what's next? A dress code? Are they going to tell you can't wear the overall with your chi-chis hanging out? This is for men, not women.
But the purpose of all this, though, is exactly what Jerry Jones does with his team, which is you're building a brand. Mm-hmm. And the more you're talked about, whether it's good or bad, the better. Mm-hmm. Right? It doesn't matter what kind of press you get, as long as you're getting press on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. And this is yet another deal in this, trek of this 2026 offseason, where we're yet again up in arms over something that the Bills are doing, but that doesn't matter to the Bills. What matters to the Bills is they dropped a jersey and it's not getting ignored.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what matters most. How is social media lighting up with this topic? What's the topic? Buffalo Bills. That's all that matters. That's all they care about. And that's right in line with the Jerry Jones method. And for those of you that haven't watched the show before, I'll give you a book. If those, for those of you that like to read, it's called Turf Wars: The Fight for the Soul of America's Game by DeMaurice Smith.
Yo, I wasn't gonna mention this. I was just gonna put it on the screen, but you said read a book. Right when Nate said vocabulary phrases, that you are learning, my brother. You are learning.
So anyway,
you knew.
I encourage you guys to check that book out, because in that book he talks about how there is this smaller group within the 32 NFL owners that hangs out with Jerry Jones. They meet regularly with Jerry Jones. Mm-hmm. And Terry Pegula comes from a similar background, an oil background, as Jerry Jones, mm-hmm. right? They're both into real. So there's a lot of similarities in the mindset and the business approach that Terry Pegula has had and Jerry Jones has been doing for many, many years. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's no coincidence that our team is now beginning, and we're winning, right? The Dallas Cowboys won a lot in their history. And so, regardless of where they are in their build and where the Bills are in their build, the business model is the same. And the Bills went from nobody knowing who we were and nobody even paying attention to Bills football, not being in very many markets, to now being in New York City markets, now being in Florida markets, and you know, like I don't want to lose my train of thought here. We're in those markets, and we're in a position now where we are I think the Bills were the number 3 brand. We were definitely top 5.
Top 5.
You were like top 5 last year in terms of brands worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bills are now up there with the Dallas Cowboys. Well, why? Because we're winning all these games, and while we're winning all these games, we're creating the Bills Mafia uproar. We're doing the new jerseys. We're coming up with all of these different ways to get the fan base either up in arms or fired up for something that the Bills are doing, jumping through tables. Why do you think that there's a broken table at the stadium in the first place? The Bills wanted that stuff out there. We talked about this last week. The Pat Moran that didn't want to
the press pass.
Yeah, he
credentials,
didn't, right. He didn't want his press pass. Why? Because he didn't want to be censored anymore by the Buffalo Bills. I'm bringing up all this stuff to say this is all by design. This is like they want the storylines, they want the news, they don't care what you think about it. They just want to be out there being talked about, right? So, and again, that's business 101 in general. It's marketing 101 in general, which is Brandon Beane's bread and butter. That's how he made his hay in the league, is by being big in marketing, right? And so I'm sure Terry Pegula saw that in Brandon Beane when he decided to promote Brandon Beane to director of football operations. Right. So to me, I think that is what puts me in a position of, okay, at the very least, we can't operate with this I love everything the team does mindset. We have to be willing to be objective and criticize and point out where things are off. Because if we don't, then nobody's ever going to hear that there's any kind of backlash. Right. We're just now starting to get to the era where there's a lot, the fact that the backlash over these jerseys is all over social media. Think about if this was like 3 years ago.
Right.
There would be no social media, saying, well, there's backlash over, the Bills jerseys or something like that. When the Color Rush jerseys came out, not a lot of people liked those at all. You didn't see much of it on social media.
Right.
Again, by design.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if you guys got any more comments on that. I think that the jersey thing the uniform thing is a much bigger representation of a much larger issue that has been kind of just existing for many, many years. And I think we're now starting to enter into an era where even though we're winning, we're willing to talk about it now, which is necessary.
Yeah.
Can I add one thing? You guys were talking about the press credentials. There's a reason why, as the owner of Built in Buffalo, like I've looked into it in the past, but I also know some folks that have told me some things about you're going to have to change your who you are as a content creator. And I don't know what I love being able to go to press conferences and have access to players and be on the field. Absolutely. 100%. Like, I think everybody would love that, but I don't want to have to change how I deliver my content. And if you guys have ever watched any of my podcasts, like I'm not a homer all the time. Like, obviously I give realistic takes on the team. Obviously I've given takes about how I feel about Terry Pegula here. And I've given takes about how I feel about the firing of Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane and all this other stuff. So I think like it's a important discussion to have about like the future of this team, because we talked about Jerry Jones' firm, or the firm that built Jerry Jones Stadium, the Cowboys Stadium, is the one that was in on designing the Bills Stadium. So there's a connection there, right? And if it's a mindset of we have the fans. It doesn't matter. Like the Cowboys will have the fans no matter what. So they could do whatever they want and they're going to make a ton of money. And I think, and I hope not, but I think that Terry Pagula's mindset is kind of like that, where we have them. We have Buffalo. This is one of the most diehard fan bases in all of professional sports, not just the NFL. So why do we need to give them red helmets? Just let's put something out there. Either they're going to like it or they're not. But like you said, people are going to be talking about it. There's going to be enough people that are going to buy them that it's going to be worth what we spent on creating them, and just keep it moving. Because quite honestly, there could be somebody that's so tone deaf in the organization, in the front office, that thought those were a great idea and great concept and they were going to hit. We don't know that, right? But either way, it passed all the production meetings. It passed through went down the whole chain, and here we are. So I don't know. It's the same thing with last year with the rivalry jerseys. And I understand that's more of an NFL thing, and the NFL had some kind of leeway into what they were supposed to look like based off of, schematics and things like that. But those jerseys and uniforms weren't that great. But they sold a ton of hats and sweatshirts and jerseys and all kinds of other stuff. So I don't know. It is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. I think, honestly, it was a joke. But I think if you want to get them talking, you should have did the potato helmets. You should have did the Josh Allen Buffalo Bills drunk. That would have been funny, though. Think about it. Think about how bad your other team would feel if you beat them and you had that on your helmet. Think about how bad that would be to see it on NFL Network. You still with this hand-drawn mess by the quarterback. Now they'll beat you 43-7. They ran it up on you. And you can't do nothing about it because they have potatoes on the side of their helmets. This would be great.
The way that Josh was crying after the Denver Broncos game, literally every team we beat like that would be crying like that in the locker room afterwards.
And because they're going to beat them. It's got to be a team that's good.
Beat me with the goddamn potato on the side of the helmet, man.
Imagine the Ravens in prime time being beat with the potato helmet in Baltimore.
They'd sell so much more merchandise than this Nickel City stuff. They
would. That's the thing. Yeah. They're not thinking. Holla at Post Podium Podcast. We got you.
We got all the best ideas.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I do not want to be responsible for making the Bills jerseys, just so you know. I don't want that. If you want that, you can take it.
I will put that potato right on the center of their chest. The numbers will be made out of potatoes. It'd be a carrot potato.
All right, we got to move on. This is getting really bad. This is really bad.
If you think this is bad, put a thumbs up. If you don't think this is bad, put a thumbs up. Either way it goes, thumbs up.
All right, so training camp opens up on Wednesday, right? And what I don't want to do is get into the typical storylines. Everybody's talking about that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't really care about the storylines.
Right.
I don't.
So let's just start off the conversation with a simple question, right? I believe that, and I've said this a few times already this offseason, I believe the offense is going to be primarily responsible for the success of the team this year. I don't think we should put much pressure at all on Leonard to be, super productive, whether it's scheme or production from the players, because that's the one side of the team that is really truly going to be in transition, right? And we can judge Leonard however we want to judge, Leonard, contextually throughout the season, and all of it is probably going to be warranted to some degree, but I still think it's going to revolve around what Josh Allen and Joe Brady are able to do with the offense. Okay. With that being said, I think the two biggest positions that we're looking at on offense that really need to get settled is left guard and wide receiver 3. And I don't mean wide receiver 3 from the standpoint of
you're right.
Slot
it's
receiver.
You talking about productivity 3.
Right. Who's going to be the third weapon that regularly gets used and is regularly effective, right? So my question becomes at that point, which one is more important? Left guard and productivity at that position, or wide receiver 3?
What you got, Dave?
No, it's all good. I think
we talk. Shut up.
I think wide receiver 3, 4, and 5 is a huge discussion, because you got Joshua Palmer. I don't know what happened when he came to Buffalo, but he got the injury bug. I've said way too much already about Keon Coleman. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. I hope. I had hope last year, and I hope this year that something's unlocked. I don't know. And then after that, you got Skylar Bell, which I was high on when they drafted, and I still want them to sign Brandon Cooks, if I'm being honest with you. A lot of this stuff, to me, honestly, relies on, like you said, Josh Allen. Because I think we have a ceiling and we have a floor. With Josh Allen, we have a floor. If he's on your team and he plays 17 games, you're going to win probably 9 of them, right? Just because you have him, right? Yep. Honestly, you're going to win probably 8-9 games just because he's on the field. Mm-hmm. The ceiling is got to be the Super Bowl. I mean, this guy won an MVP and was a drive away from making the Super Bowl, throwing deep passes to an injured Dalton Kincaid and Amari Cooper and Mac Hollins and bubble screens to Khalil Shakir. So I think if they could figure out the wide receiver room in the pecking order, because I think DJ Moore is going to get a bunch of targets, 120-ish. Kincaid, if he's healthy, is going to get a bunch of targets. Then you have Shakir and everybody else. So to me, is Joe Brady going to be free and clear now that, McDermott's not here? Because apparently McDermott, was holding him back and all this stuff. So we're going to find out if the passing game's coming back. And I honestly think this wide receiver room on paper looks good, but there's a lot of ifs. Like, we need Palmer to be healthy. We need Keon to finally figure things out. We need to figure out if Skylar Bell is going to contribute this year. And then the pass catchers, Knox is whatever. He is a guy that you could count on here and there. But is Kincaid going to be healthy? And if he is, that's different. The offense is different when he plays. You can see it, like they go downfield more. Because, I think DJ Moore is going to open a lot of stuff up, because if you look when they got Brandon Cooks, Josh was throwing down the field more. Even if you look at the Eagles game, he was throwing down the field to Shavers. And there was the Tampa Bay game, he was throwing downfield. So I don't know. Like, I think Alec Anderson's going to start at left guard, and I think it's going to be his job to lose, and I think they like him a lot. But they brought in reinforcements, and they've done that, and Bean's done that now for 3-4 years in a row. So I think it's definitely going to be interesting. But I want to watch the pass catchers, and I want to see, if they can take another step so we can stop talking about Josh Allen throwing for 3,600 yards. When you have a Ferrari, you don't put it in neutral and push it up a hill. You open it up and let that thing go. So turn the governor off and let it go. So that's where I'm at with that.
For me, I'll go left guard. Here's why. The reason why I hear what Dave said, and I understand it, but they have no appetite for it because of how they draft it. They don't draft these Ferrari components. They draft, defense. They draft pass catching tight ends. They don't draft, the elite trait guys right now, even if they're third or fourth rounder. Skylar Bell, to me, the wide receiver 2 room, with the competition between Keon Coleman, Skylar Bell, and Josh Palmer, 3 guys that have shown you nothing really in this offense, really in no offense that's had Joe Brady as a head coach. Now it's like a clean slate. You got DJ Moore, which you paid to be the number 1 guy. Khalil Shakir earned his keep as number 2 guy. But then you have this interesting dynamic where your third wide receiver could be a pass catcher in Dalton Kincaid. So you don't necessarily have to have a guy relying on the other side from DJ Moore. You can scheme up something with Kincaid, with Knox, even with Hawes if you want to give him something extra this year. With Carmichael coming in this year, you have James Cook. You have Ray Davis, who's a decent pass catcher. You got Ty Johnson, who's a pass catcher. All these pass catchers. But for me, when you look at the left guard position, I'm not saying that this is all on Deion Dawkins or Connor McGovern or anybody on the line in particular, but being sacked 40 times, which is 7th most in the league last year, I need to fix that. You got a quarterback who's 30 years old, and you got a quarterback who you need to settle in, like Dave said, to be a Ferrari and feel confident throwing the ball downfield. You got a guy that you need to have, that he has faith in. Does he have faith in a $3 million restricted free agent that they just happen to tender and get back? Or do you have, a Cyrus Torrance level hype guy that you can plug into the left tackle side? I see in here a couple people mentioned Vita Vea, which has nothing to do with your conversation, but these are things that they've proven that they don't want. And that kind of ties into my point when I talk about the wide receiver too. We happened upon Miko Hardman. which was in and gone. MVS, in and gone. You know, guys that have speed that get down the field, in and gone. There's a reason for this, because they want a certain kind of player. And Skylar Bill is that hope that they have a Stephon Diggs that they drafted, which I hope too, because I want to say, yes, you finally did it. You finally cracked the seal on something here, and now let it all pour forth. So I think for me, the left guard is more important because they took a lot of swings at the outside and pass catching room, not just wide receiver, which wide receiver is probably still bottom third at least. But I want to secure my left guard, who we had a left tackle last year who was looking pretty bad. He says he lost a lot of weight. To your point about training camp, we don't know what he is now. You lose too much weight, guess what? You have Bam, what's your boy? Boogie Basham. You have AJ Epinesa, because they lost weight, but you lost too much, and now you can't function with it.
Right.
Because there's a component to you that I don't have anymore, because I don't have this girth behind me anymore.
Yeah.
So it's scary. I want to solidify and give Deion Dawkins something to write home about this year.
I'm gonna go like actual wide receiver when I go wide receiver 3, and here's why. The Bills are facing 7 top 10 defenses this coming season that we know of. Right? We still have yet to see. Actually, hold on. So the top 10 defenses we're facing, just so everybody knows, Houston Texans, Denver Broncos, Patriots, Eagles, Chiefs, Vikings, Chargers, and Rams. Okay. That does not account for the Vikings, who have been a really good defense. We don't know what's going to turn out with the Jets defense. I mean, they're usually a good defensive team and has given us, you know, some significant problems before last year anyway. And then we got the Bears that we still need, like, we're not really sure what they're going to be defensively. They've gotten better. If Micah Parsons is back by the time we play the Packers, that could be another great defense that we have to play. So my thought process is we need to get the same consistent production out of the wide receiver group that we were getting back in 2020 and 2021. And when I say consistent production, I mean, we need to be able to win with the pass. And we need to use the pass to set up the run. I think everybody in the league has already adjusted to, you know, how good the Bills have been running the ball. We need to capitalize on that. Okay, you're coming into the game scouting us for running. Now we're gonna throw the ball over your head all game long and see how you deal with that, right? And we're gonna ride that wave until somebody shows us that they can stop it. Then we'll go back to, you know, all right, we're gonna run the ball, pass, go play action, do all these different things. So that now you don't know what to expect, right? But at some point, you have to establish and show to the league that they have to worry about the pass. They have to, and it can't be just 2 guys, and we're gonna platoon that wide receiver 3 with Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman and Josh Palmer and all these other guys, right? It needs to be an established. If it's gonna be Palmer, then it's got to be Shakir, Palmer, and Moore. Like that, they have to get out there and dominate. If it's not going to be Moore, then it's got to be Coleman. It's got to be Coleman, Moore, and Shakir, right? And the reason that's so important is if you are able to establish respectability in your wide receiver core and show the efficacy of it, you now open things up, not just for the run, but for your tight ends as well, because defenses are going to have to open up the middle in order to guard those outside receivers. They're going to have to play more man coverage. What does man coverage force teams to do? Well, now I can't stick a corner, or I can't rotate my corner onto Kincaid, and, you know, because I don't have to worry about the receivers. I can't do that anymore. Now I have to play Kincaid with a slower linebacker or a smaller safety.
Well, a lot of that, what you're talking about, goes into scheme too, because you figure, you know, we had Gabe Davis who ran a 4-5-4 or something like that, running deep routes, almost all deep routes. And it opened up the field a little bit for whoever, Knox or whoever it was at the time. But that's the thing you have to worry about too. What is the scheme going to be when you're asking a question about the wide receiver? And by the way, hold on a second. Where was I? I wanted to introduce Dave to Steve. Steve. Ceiling is number 2 wide receiver. The real number one needs narratives like he almost got 1,000 yards 2 years ago, and look at his bad quarterback. Same thing said for Samuels, Palmer, Elijah last year is a joke. See, I hate to say it, but I understand this thing because the threat is qualified. It's always qualified. Well, look who we play with now. He has it. Steve wants the guy that we've seen it being done with whoever. He wants. We've seen Stephon Diggs and what he's done. We've seen certain Cole Beasley come in here and everybody. Oh, in Dallas he did, but he comes to Buffalo and he's our number one receiver for a little bit of time. So we're putting a lot of eggs in this DJ Moore basket. When everybody, was it a fluke with Caleb Williams, or is that is that a 1-off, 2-off? So. For that comment by Steve, I would say you got to wait and see, because if you're pinning in DJ Moore as this save all kind of player, we just don't know yet, and that's fair. Steve's a little more. He's got a little more vitriol, a little more heat in his heart than most, but I get the point. I wanted to get to the super chat because I don't want to lose it, but So
all right, thank you very much, Marcus.
So Vita Vea wants to be traded. Would y'all like to get him? Dave, what you think?
I think he's going to cost too much. Being honest,
you must have seen me talk before. You must have seen. You must have seen me talk before.
Yeah. Well, there's that too, and I'll always be a guy that's like, okay, is Max Crosby available? Figure it out. That's a guy that you would try to figure it out, right? Whatever you got to do, figure out the contract, figure out the money out. The Bills just spent last offseason reloading the defensive line. The Bills just are trying to figure out what the new defensive line is going to look like this year. If you want to bring him in, fine, but does he fit what you're trying to do when you have all these other young guys? We have so many young defensive linemen that we don't even know what they are because they were drafted last year. Half of them got injured. Half of them were playing in a different system than what they're going to be asked to do this year. So I mean, in theory, it would probably sound great. Yeah, sure. Let's go get Vita Vea. Yeah, absolutely. But it's the cost that we've already invested in defense on the line. To me, it could be used somewhere else. That's unless you're getting an absolute top 5 edge defender, because we can never get to the quarterback and we haven't been able to in 10 years. But if you're going to go after a guy on defense that's going to be paid a lot, it needs to be an edge defender that can get the quarterback and stop the run. And Vita Vea he's getting up there a little bit too in age. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure he still plays at a high level and but can I add one thing to the wide receiver conversation?
Go ahead.
You guys were talking about. So Brandon Beane, we all know what happened a couple years ago on WGR, but I feel like Brandon Beane has this philosophy of when I want a player, I'm going to get that player. So you guys remember when Brandon Beane traded for Stephon Diggs? So what happened before he traded for Stephon Diggs? He was on the phone with Emmanuel Sanders, and he was going to give him a big contract. And Emmanuel Sanders said, I need to sleep on it. Next thing you know, he trades for Stephon Diggs. Who does he sign next offseason? Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
In 2018, Brandon Beane's come out now 3 or 4 times and said that they had who on their draft board? DJ Moore. So now he goes out and trades for DJ Moore. So I don't know if he just likes what he likes and wants to have it no matter what. And I'm not saying DJ Moore's not going to come in and contribute, because I hope he does. I think he's got a skill set that Josh needs. He runs dirty routes, which is not a bad thing when you have a quarterback who is as dirty, I say dirty, off script, as Josh Allen is. He likes to get out of the pocket. Just go run, I'll point, you go there, I'll throw to you. And that's DJ Moore does that. But I think that Brandon Beane is just stubborn in what he wants. I mean, they brought back Gabe Davis last year, a guy that he drafted, right? And then they couldn't afford to pay him. He goes to Jacksonville for a year, gets injured, gets cut, comes back, and he's a Bill. So I think like you mentioned, Keys, you mentioned that Brandon Beane likes a specific size profile for a wide receiver. And I think maybe that's why they haven't signed Brandon Cooks yet. Maybe they just don't want that receiver to be in the mix. I don't know. It's just the wide receiver position, I know, is a hot topic with a ton of Bills fans and a ton of content creators and podcasts and all that, because it's such a polarizing topic. Because why can't we just figure out that we have a once in a generational quarterback? Stop playing around with the position. Khalil Shakir is what he is. You paid him $15 million to be a slot receiver that's going to catch 70 passes, break a bunch of tackles, get a bunch of yak, score some touchdowns. But why why can't we be the team that breaks the mold and goes and gets a Justin Jefferson or one of these other high-profile guys? Why can't they do it? Other teams figure it out. Why can't Brandon Beane, who everybody wants to put on a pedestal as a salary cap wizard and all this stuff, but he can't figure this stuff out? Like, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole in wide receivers because I know that's not what the topic was.
You're like rubbing Keyshawn's sweet spot right now, just so you know. You're like
I don't understand why. And I'm not one of those we're wasting Josh Allen's prime guys, but I'm starting to get the itch of I'm starting to like, it's starting to rub off on me a little bit that he's a once, like, we've never seen, and I'm not just blowing smoke up as you know what, because he plays for the Bills, but we've never seen a talent like his. You pull up the history books, he's got stats that make no sense for how much stuff he's done in a game, a season, 4-game stretch, whatever. Why would you not, as a front office, every offseason, Terry Pagula and Brandon Beane, how can we help Josh Allen? Because every year, the man carries this franchise into the playoffs every single year. Every year, even when we had Diggs, he was still doing stuff that made no sense in the postseason because the defense wasn't good or the injuries or whatever it was. So I don't know. I'm getting to the point where, all right, he's going to be 30. He's 30. And then at some point, Josh isn't going to be doing the stuff Josh does, and he's going to need more outlets to pass the ball. So
Yeah,
I'll get off my soapbox.
No, get back on. I like when you talk about Brandon Beane, his money, and how you're talking he doesn't have it, but he does.
You don't want me to talk about Brandon Beane. You really don't.
We can do a show, me and you.
Yeah,
sign
it up. When we get done here, you let me know. We'll do it. I'll go an hour on Brandon Beane.
Yes. Okay, I'll watch
it. To J-Ham's point, the cost would be lower, though, since he's talking about Vita Vea, since he's old and wants to leave. It'd be lower in capital requested, but he's still $18 million against the cap in 2026. So
I'm sure Big Baller Bean could figure out some way.
He's got Josh Allen.
Well, here's the point though. Here's the point, because I would figure out a way to make that work, and I think it's important. And for those of you that are wondering how good he is, still in 2026, he's ranked as the 20th overall interior defensive lineman by Pro Football Focus. That's still pretty dang good.
It's all right
amongst all interior defensive linemen that are out there. He's 20, right?
All right.
So,
yeah, it's all right.
but why is 20 good enough here? Because the Bills have not had a DaQuan Jones style player, relatively close to his prime since DaQuan Jones, right? We haven't had it before him, and we haven't had it after he got injured and he wasn't the same player anymore. Yeah. And what's important about that is the understanding that fundamentals are fundamentals for a reason. When you want to attack an offense, you need to have two things. You need to have numbers in your pass rush, and you need to have schematic advantage on the back end, right? So what that means is if I want to get pressure on your quarterback, I'm either going to have 4 elite pass rushers that can beat, or that are capable of beating double teams at any given point in time, or I can go the traditional route and have 1-2 gapping defensive linemen that can consistently take double teams to free up the other 3 rushers. Right? That's just the fundamentals of football. It is what it is. Do not sit here and listen to anybody else try to tell you that this defense doesn't need that type of guy, because at the end of the day, it is a fundamental part of football from the very beginning, period. And what that means then is you have to ask the question, do the Bills have a 2-gapping defensive lineman? Deion Walker's not that. Okay, I know people that are connected to Deion Walker. I've already reported this. Deion Walker, initially, before he was asked, did not want to play nose tackle. That's not his style of football. His body is not built for it. And the back injury in general, being a year removed from that, or almost 2 years now, it is still a concern when it comes to playing that style of football.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. If you played Look at the size. If you play it, not worry about anything else. Just look at the size.
Right.
It doesn't do anything for you.
No.
You can't. You got to look at the play style. You got to look at that's why when we did the episode was last week, 2 weeks ago, and I said Deion Walker replaced him. It was kind of tongue in cheek in a way because I wanted to get a list of the response from people because if I said no, they'd be like whatever, who cares? But it's a skill set. It's a game set. It's something that you can't just plug in a guy. And like I said, when you look at how he's built, he's not that big.
He's top heavy.
Yeah.
But
look at how Spencer Brown was. Spencer Brown came in 6'9", 315. That's not big at all.
Right.
So he benches 500 pounds, but you can't anchor. Guess what? It don't matter.
Right.
And then
we wonder why he's back issues.
And he has a cracked vertebrae because you're asking him to do something his body's not designed to do.
Right.
And the layperson say, well, he's 345. Why can't he do it? But why can't Daquan Jones do it? Because he's low. He probably squats like 600 pounds, 700 pounds. And that's where you live. It's can you play with your knee almost on the ground at all times? That's why Ed Oliver, when he gets neutralized, because he's playing a nose tackle, he has to put his knee on the ground because he can't survive a bull rush by a guard and center. When you're forwarding into Vita Vea, stuff like that, do you really need to put in $20 million into a nose tackle? No. If you put money into the edges like Dave said, put the edge of guys that get to the quarterback. I had a conversation with one of my friends about Greg Rousseau, and he said, well, he's not above average. He's excellent at what he does. Yeah. He's good at pressures. To your point, pressures don't matter. They don't, but they do because there's supposed to be somebody on the other side that eats on the pressure, which we don't have. What about Bosa? What did Bosa do after the first 3 weeks of the season last year? 5 weeks of the season? Nothing. He disappeared because he was the same impact. Now you need somebody to counteract, and that's what Dave is saying. Give me somebody that's bendy. Give me somebody that I put that thing in tongue in cheek with Romello Height from the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. They showed not the Chiefs, from the Niners. They showed Nick Bosa running the drill, and lumbering big dude, whatever the case may be. Then you see Romello Height, who's small but fast and twitchy.
I remember watching that one. Yeah.
It's like
big difference.
The big difference, night and day. But the Bills, they're so stuck on we need this person to do everything. No. You have this guy that can't do that, but he does a hell of a job doing this thing. This guy's got to be doing a hell of a job doing that thing. It's a symbiotic relationship here. Mm-hmm. Now, if you tell me you have that, and the reason why they can't get home is because of nose tackle, Vita Vea it is. But you invested all these resources in your defensive ends, your edges, your outside linebackers now. But what are they doing? Bradley Chubb, Greg Rousseau, they're the same kind of guy. They're the same kind of guy, and they're gonna give you 7, 8, 9 sacks. But wouldn't it be nice to have one guy that's good for 14 sacks, and then the other guys they contribute 6, 7 sacks in a game? Because when one guy is coming, but the Bills they all should get to the quarterback, but they're not a threat. If we allow them to get to the quarterback, they will, but they're not going to force their way to him. And the Bills don't scheme to him, and that's what I'm hoping Leonard comes in and says, you know what, now we're going to twist, we're going to stunt, we're going to do all these gap shoots. Yeah. And where Terrell Bernard, if you watch every Baylor highlight he had, he shot a gap quarterback, fumble, sack, something, interception. That's where Terrell Bernard, I think, he's gonna flourish in his defense. But to your point, and Daquan and whoever else it was that really wants Vita Vea, if you don't have the outside solidified, because in this defense, your outside that's your premium piece. Mm-hmm. You're trying to complement your premium piece, and we haven't identified it yet. They're going to keep telling you we got Chubb, we got TJ Parker with Samson Love. Samson's probably killing me right now. We got these guys here in place, and they're going to go off. Just trust me. I want to trust you. I want to trust me. Trust me. I want to trust you. But I've seen enough money being spent on pieces that don't do what they're said to they're going to do. Von Miller, yes, but see, that's the last time we really went for that kind of player. That's the kind of player we need, but just not a 32-year-old version, at $20 million a season version of that.
Yeah, I get that. I just what people don't realize about the Denver Broncos defense is they have some defensive linemen that are really good against the run.
Mm-hmm. And how big are they though?
They're not that big.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's fine. However, we have not shown that we consistently have that.
But you're telling me what I'm saying. They're looking for a Vita Vea. They're looking for Dexter Lawrence. When you need the guys with tenacity like Denver had. Size don't matter. It's the dog. It's the dog. If you mention Denver, it's the dog. I get that. I get
style. I would say it like this, because you're not wrong. You need the attitude, but you also need the skill set as well.
Right.
And the skill set is not necessitated by size.
Exactly.
Right. And
exactly.
so I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I get that. What I'm saying is if you're going into the season and you're saying what we have is good enough, how much should we trust your ability to assess when all of the players on the defensive line that you're going into the season with have not shown you consistently enough that they can be relied upon in that way?
Exactly the point. That's the point.
Right.
And Dave, what do you think?
I mean, Jim Leonard told us in a press conference, this is year one and we're building. So that tells me right there is he does not have the pieces that he fully wants to control this defense the way he wants, which could be an actual like natural nose tackle. It could mean the linebackers he's not happy with. I mean, Dorian Williams hasn't practiced all offseason. He's been on crutches. The stuff that they're doing, they're going to be asking, Michael Hoyt come back from an injury. They're going to ask TJ Sanders to step up, Landon Jackson coming back from an injury, all these other guys that they're going to ask to do stuff that we have no idea if they're able to do it to start the season, let alone building throughout the season. So that's why I said, I think there's going to be a lot of trial and error on defense. Mm-hmm. And we got sick and tired. Well, I got sick and tired of bend but don't break, like, especially when it came to the postseason, right? They just broke. It was just broke. But right. I think that we're going to have to be not okay with it, but we're going to have to understand that there's going to be times when the Bills are going to get beat deep. It's just the defense is going to be different. There's going to be stuff that's going to go over the top, like we weren't used to seeing with McDermott because of the way they played, because the secondary is going to be aggressive. The linebackers are going to be aggressive. The Bills are going to do a lot of stuff to try to confuse, the opposing offenses, just because they have to do that, because they're still trying to figure out, is Elarms or really that dude that can do this? Is Terrell Bernard more suited for this like he was when he played in the 3-4 at Baylor? CJ Gardner-Johnson, like, he's hit or miss. Like, I love the signing, but if you look at some of the stuff he does, he makes a ton of mistakes. He's very aggressive. So, there's growing pains still probably with Cole Bishop, as good as he played last year. So I think there's going to be a lot of, Josh, we need you to score a bunch of points this game. And that's why I feel like Joe Brady's going to open. And I don't want to change the topic of the conversation we're having, but I feel like that's why I think Joe Brady's going to open up the offense more to try to score points. Kind of like, remember when Brian Daboll was the offensive coordinator and the Bills would be up 28-7 in the third or fourth quarter, and Josh Allen would just come out slinging bombs, because they knew that, okay, we just need to score points as many as we can, whenever we can, foot on the throat, killer mentality, let's go. And then somewhere along the way, after Daboll left and then Ken Dorsey left and then Joe Brady, it became control the clock, keep the other team off the field. Like, is the defense really as good as we think it is, or they just have less opportunities to score points? Like, everybody last year was talking about the passing defense and how good it was. Well, if they have 3 less drives a game and, they're running the ball down the Bills' throat, it doesn't matter how good or bad the Bills passing defense is, because it doesn't matter. They're not getting the opportunities. So I don't know, if you look at a lot of stuff last year, like you look at, the opening game against the Ravens, you look at the game against the Bengals, the game against the Patriots, the Bills were getting destroyed early in all those games. And then they made adjustments because they were scoring points, controlling the clock, scoring points. So I think that has to be the philosophy this year. Just try to score as many points. Offense needs to be super heavy, rely heavily. And I think this kind of ties back into, when we initially started the conversation and I was talking about Josh Allen, I mean, that guy gets you 9 wins just by taking the field. So I think if you can have an offense that you can open up more, because honestly, Josh Allen in the passing game has been what it's been because of lack of the guys being able to execute on the field. That's why all the short passes, the intermediate stuff, because you didn't have, remember the Texans game that they lost a couple seasons ago, and he's throwing deep bombs to Mac Hollins, who's double covered, and he's not going to catch that. And then we complained, and then they got Amari Cooper, and we know how that went. But I don't know. I think to help mask a growing, learning defense is just score a bunch of points. And I think that's what we're going to have to be okay with as fans, is watching this team struggle a little bit. And plus, we're all used to what we saw from McDermott. We knew that there'd be times when McDermott would make adjustments at halftime. The defense would step up and it would help them win games. We have no idea from week 1 what the defense is going to look like. We hope these guys can, it's not a square peg in a round hole, and it's a square peg in a square hole, and these guys can be, fit in like jigsaw pieces, and they're going to work, and the dynamics are all going to work, and this guy's going to be great here and there, but we don't know. And the only ones that do know are Jim Leonard, Brandon Beane, the coaching staff on defense, and we're just going to have to kind of take it as we go.
Yeah, I mean, I have high hopes for the defense, and like you said, you have to be tolerant of mistakes. But I think for me, the defense, what I expected to see more splash plays, pass breakups in opportune times, third down, second down when it really matters. Interceptions, pick sixes. When's the last time you really saw one? Dorothy, that's for you. But it's
you and me every week.
And she's not gonna. She goes, you guys said I gave you a layup, but she's gonna forget. But
wait, is that a Christian Benford take?
Yes.
Oh, I know how Aramis feels about Christian Benford. He didn't want me to put him in the highlight video I made for you guys. He's like, you can't put that in there. You can't put that in there. I'm gonna get destroyed. You can't do it.
Oh, that's right.
I was cool with it. I was cool with it. But no. It's I expect to see these splash plays that just snatch the victory from the hands of other teams and just put them on the Bills side where it's not because Josh did something crazy, we won. Because James Cook busted out 60-yard touchdowns and breaking tackle. Khalil Shakir is making these weird off-the-cuff plays. It's a third. The defense at some point, again, should be the clear-cut reason why the Bills have won. Yep. Behind the scenes, has McDermott's defense delivered sometimes? Sure it has. But not eye-popping enough. Nothing that gets your defensive players on the top 10 list, on the top 100. The last time we had a player not named Matt Milano on the top 100 list, I don't even know. Poyer and Hyde back in that heyday, maybe. But it's as simple as the splash plays, because you wonder how Josh Allen got MVP. It wasn't because of his numbers. It was more so because of the splash plays, what shows up on highlights. That's what gets you exposure. Right. The Legion of the Boom over in Seattle, they hit you. Yep. The Iron Curtain, they hit you. No fly zones, which we had at one point in time. You couldn't throw because we were going to take it from you. We need to get some variation of that back. It doesn't have to be as rudimentary, as basic as being fundamental. I mean, big things are going to happen when you're selling out for big plays. And Buffalo Bills fans have to understand that with these new uniforms, with the new slogans, with the new stadium, things are going to look different now, including how it looks on the field. You got a new head coach. You got a new offense, regardless of what people think about the head coach and McDermott, this and third. But Brady might have been under a McDermott. Maybe McDermott was saving Brady from himself. We have to figure that out. What if that's the case? Nobody thought about that. He handcuffed him. Maybe he had to. Dave made a good point when he's talking about day ball, when Josh Allen was throwing all over the field and we're up by astronomical amounts. Why is it that Dayball, got to live and die with this philosophy, but these other guys did? Maybe McDermott said, Dayball, I don't like it, but it's working. Do it. Not saying he did. I'm not trying to argue that point.
No. I was like, the thought that came to my mind is how is Sean McDermott going to argue with the guy who won a Super Bowl?
Well, that and but it's his team and he argues with everybody else. But the point is, if McDermott sees him in practice like, I don't think Brady's head is where I need it to be. Right. I don't want you to do that. Don't do that pass. Don't do that run here. We'll do it later because I don't trust your outcome. I don't trust your judgment. He's not a saint. He wasn't the best coach. He wasn't the best game planner. He wasn't a good in-game play caller, decision maker. But there are certain things that he saw behind the scenes that we're not privy to, that shaped his mind state around his coaching staff and his players.
Well, I think we know now through all the reports and the different podcasts that we've listened to, namely the Tyler Dunn podcast that he does with Jim Onis. Mm-hmm. Sean McDermott's mindset was he wanted to try to win despite Josh. Mm-hmm. Right. He didn't want the winning to be. He wanted the winning to be because of his defense. Mm-hmm. And you could see that in the last 3 years when he had the most influence on the team and he exercised the most influence on the team as he could. He was trying to create a structure where Josh didn't really have to do much, and not in a good way, in a Josh, you just stand over there. We're going to run the ball. And when we need you to do some crazy stuff, we'll call you in and you do some crazy stuff and then we'll win that way. If we have to. If we don't have to, I want to run the ball, run the clock out, and play great defense. And that's how I want to win games. And I think what we have to draw, we have to, I guess, kind of focus in on, and this is kind of taking us into the main topic of the show today.
We ain't hit it yet. Okay, cool.
No. far from it, but we don't have much time left.
No, we're good. Like I said, I don't work until later. So.
Okay. All right, yeah. Sweet. So let's start here. We know that that's the way that Sean McDermott wanted to win, but the question that got me thinking about was Sean McDermott coaching the way that he was coaching because he wanted to prove that it was his scheme that was supreme, or was he coaching that way because he wanted to prove that he needed better players, right? And here's what I mean. Sean McDermott is widely regarded for his ability to emphasize the play of the secondary, right? And enhance the play of the secondary. And that's been his bread and butter since his Jim Johnson days back in Philly, right? And so seeing what he did in Carolina with Bradbury and I forget the name of the other young corner that they went to the Super Bowl with. But seeing what he did in Carolina with that secondary and seeing what he's done here with the Bills in that secondary, and then kind of moving our gaze over to the defensive line and kind of realizing, okay, this team has been winning with secondary play and it's been effective because the secondary play has been so good, even despite the defensive line not performing the way we wanted them to, right? And for those of you that have been watching this for a while, you kind of have an idea of where this conversation is going in general, but
I don't even know.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I guess the question I'm asking is Jim Leonhard going to get a true opportunity to show what he can do, or is he going to be put in a similar, and again, I'm not saying this to defend Sean McDermott, but I think it's been kind of clear that Sean McDermott didn't necessarily love the players that he had on the team.
I just had a thought. You know what my thought was?
What?
Sean McDermott sitting there listening to Jim Leonhard looking like Gruden.
You gonna find out?
No,
today?
he's sitting there like Gruden. He's like, oh yeah, tell me, say it slow now.
Right.
Do it. Oh, call it out. Oh, what's the audible? What's the protection? Oh. I'm just saying.
He probably is. He probably is. I'm not gonna lie. He probably is.
Is this a robber? Tell me it's a robber. Oh, it's a robber. Okay.
But that's kind of the vibe that I get. Like it truly, like seriously, is Jim Leonhard gonna have to go through this? Because I mean, like Dave, you even said like Brandon Beane likes who he likes. So is he really going to be truly willing to give Jim Leonhard what Jim Leonhard is asking for, or is it going to be Brandon Beane's version of what Jim Leonhard is asking for?
I think that all the guys that were hired, I think that Beane had a hand in all of it. I understand that Joe Brady probably put feelers out for guys like Pete Carmichael that he knew from back in New Orleans and some other stuff. But I think that Brandon Beane had a huge hand in the staff that was hired. I mean, you bring in John Fox. Where did John Fox coach? Carolina. Where did Brandon Beane come from? Carolina. That's not a coincidence. And John Fox is a great insulation for Joe Brady to have, right? Like there might be some stuff that comes up throughout the season that's, whether it's dealing with travel, bye weeks, whatever it is, right? But I definitely think that Brandon Beane definitely got guys for Brady that were going to, I'm not going to say they're yes men, because I feel like Bobby Babbitt was a yes man for Sean McDermott. It was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll do. Okay. Sounds good. I'll be here with you for 8 years and okay, cool. But I also feel like they're trying to get a little bit innovative with the younger side of the coaching staff to try to relate more to some of the players, because if you bring in an older coach like a Pete Carmichael, how much can he relate to Josh Allen? Right. Like he can't. Joe Brady can, not just because he's been here, but they're pretty similar in age. what's there, like maybe a 10-year age difference, something like that? Not even. So I don't know. I think that there was a lot that was said about the relationship between McDermott and Bean. A lot of people thought they were linked at the hip. They were a two-piece deal. It was one and you had the other, no matter what. Like if you had McDermott, you had Bean. If you had Bean, you had McDermott. And then a lot of stuff has come up, you know, especially like Tyler Dunn, who's a really good friend of mine. He, you know, has done some really good work talking to coaches about, hey, what was the atmosphere like working for Sean McDermott? Not trying to throw Sean McDermott under the bus for anything, but just trying to understand, you know, was he a control freak? You know, was he in the draft room saying, I need these players? Was he like going to Terry Pagula and saying that Brandon's not getting me the right guys? And, you know, the stuff that we saw down the stretch last year of the season where McDermott was throwing Bean under the bus left and right, talking about wide receivers and talking about cornerbacks that were let go, you know, when they signed Slay and all this other stuff. And he was throwing them under the bus. And, you know, we as fans, we're not in at One Bills Drive. We don't see the relationship between Bean and McDermott. We just kind of see what we get to see, right? We're not privy to all that stuff. So I mean, we have to just kind of hope that, you know, Jim Leonhard was the guy that was hired because he's the guy that the Bills need to lead this defense. He's the right guy. Now, he's a rookie play caller on defense. So we don't know if it's going to work or not until we see what happens. We need the results, right? But we know his pedigree. We know his history. We know what he's done. And that's kind of what I'm excited for, honestly. I'm excited for a change on defense. I am excited to see what it's going to look like. I'm excited to see if we can have guys that stack the quarterback when we need guys in the fourth quarter to stack the quarterback. When it's, you know, 2 minutes left in a game and we don't have to see, okay, how much time is Josh going to have to try to come back and win this game? Because we know that this team can go make a stop and they go make a stop. So I don't know if that really answered your question, but I feel like we just have to see it. Like it's the biggest what if. The Joe Brady being the guy that's going to be the end all be all play caller, calling the games, doing all the, you know, in-game management and stuff like that. I think we're okay there. I honestly think that's going to be, yes, there's going to be a learning curve, but I think the biggest concern that we should all have and biggest question is always going to be defense because everything's different. And there's so much pressure on Jim Leonhard because they fired the guy because his defense wasn't good enough.
Yep.
After he was here for 9 years, he's the second winningest coach of all time in the history of this franchise. So you got to understand that guy's that's got to be sitting with him every night when he goes to bed. Like they fired the guy that was in charge of the defense. They brought me in. I got to make this work. Right. And then Brady too, right? Like, cause Brady's got to oversee the defense now. And he's going to be the one that's going to be held to the fire for hiring Jim Leonhard. So I don't know. I guess to answer your question, I think that most of these guys that were hired as far as the coaching staff, as far as the assistants and coordinators, I definitely feel like Brandon Bean had a heavy hand in all of it. I really do. And I think obviously on the offensive side, I think our assistant general manager / Josh Allen had a hand in all the coaching hires as well too. So,
well, you heard Tim Graham said that Brandon Bean knew per his sources inside the building that Sean McDermott was going to be fired and he was going to get promoted like way before it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So
like the beginning of the season, pretty much is what
probably
was talked about.
Yeah. So I didn't go back that far. I don't know. You know, I just know that it's not some kind of, you know, rumor. It's not some kind of something that somebody's thrown out there. It's a conspiracy. They were conspiring against the dude.
I don't remember who it was that said this, but I think it was on Skip Bayless's podcast that he does with the players. I forgot who it was that said it, but I think it might have been Richie Incognito that said that Terry Pagula was saying at the beginning of the season, if Sean doesn't win a Super Bowl this year, he's out.
It might have been Incognito, and that's the thing is like, when Brandon Bean in the press conference, I had no idea. I had nothing to do with it. Really?
I keep saying it's a mighty fine coincidence that Joe Brady happened to be in the draft room last year, just seeing how it goes. Yep. Like, what offensive coordinator does that? I just want to see how the draft process works.
Like, why? Oh, you're OJTing. Oh,
Right.
oh, we're doing this now.
Exactly.
This is where you're gonna sit now. I mean, if you happen to ever get a job as a head coach anywhere, you're gonna sit right here. You know, they're showing Pagula up in the press box or suite doing this here, and Brandon like, see that? Mark it down. We're gonna fire him for that too. You know what I mean? It was just so eerie how it was handled this last year, the year prior, when it seemed like the alignment was off. They had alignment, Dave. Remember that?
Oh, the alignment, yeah.
Brandon Bean is we draft together. We didn't. McDermott's like, what the hell is going on? I told you this guy. Who's that? But that it's just funny because I'm not gonna sit here and say McDermott got a raw deal. He dug his own grave, because you think about it, at the very least, you weren't likable the first couple years for whatever reason. Maybe people just didn't understand you, but you didn't build any allies in the buildings to say this is wrong. What are we doing? We like this guy. There were some players, of course, because he stood up for him. He stuck up for him. When Hamlin happened, McDermott rallied the troops or whatever the case may be. But he should have known, because Stephon Diggs rallied the troops. What happened to him? Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
You rallied the troops? Guess what? Go with Diggs over in Washington one day or something like that. But I mean, it's just funny how this goes. And I was just tied into something else I had, but I don't want to take off of your main point. So we'll stick with that, and we'll pocket it. You want me
to like re-say the question?
No. We'll pocket that for now.
Okay.
And okay. No,
what? You go for it.
No, I don't want to change the subject.
Say it.
Well, this goes into something I was watching on the weekend on my tablet. You guys know I've been nostalgic lately. I was watching the 1989 LA Rams versus Buffalo Bills. I think it was like week 18 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And if anybody knows this, who was the running back for the Rams in 1989? It was not Eric Dickerson. I'll give you that. It's Greg Bell. Where did Greg Bell come from? Here. On broadcast, they said they had to pull Greg Bell away from the microphone. This is an 89. They had to pull him away from the microphone because he was letting the Bills have it. He said, Fred Smerlas, I hate him, can't stand him. He said, Marv Levy is a fraud. He said, what did he say? He called him a con artist. He said, Bill's organization is a fraud. It's all for show. He said, it's fake. And they had to pull this man. This is 89. Now you fast forward to what we've seen since then. Now you've seen Maroons. You've seen Russ Brandon's with Maroons, with Whaley, all getting almost a fist fight because they couldn't come to agreement on anything. These two just knew they hated Doug Marone. Then you got McDermott coming in hiring Brandon Bean. They're on alignment. Now they're not on alignment. This is espionage. This is not espionage. Whatever the case be. But what is the Bills' code? This is generations, different people. But is this what we are? I thought about it when I was listening to some radio, and I was reminded of we tie ourselves to certain people, and that divides the fan base. This side over here, we love Brandon Bean. This side over here, we love Sean McDermott. This side over here, we don't like anybody. Just get rid of everybody except Josh Allen, and it goes back further years. It's always been this. Everybody's there arguing over who's right, who's wrong, but that means to me that we're not seeing and we're not cheering for what we think we're cheering for and seeing. They were talking about on the radio, they were talking about how I think Shada's asked about OJ. What do we feel about OJ not being on the wall? I'm not going to talk about that part, but what I'm going to talk about is, you're disallowing that, but then they talk about number 12, his transgressions, number 78, his transgressions, number 34, his transgressions. But then the wall of family, we ignore that. Of course, I understand it. I get it. But my point is, we pick and choose again. Now we fight again. So why have a wall? Why even bother? Why do we do these things? Why do we do the jerseys? Why do we do these things to ourselves? It's just it's crazy to me.
We got a comment here from Kev, says great players, i.e. JA17, cover a multitude of front office sins. And that's really all we've been asking for, right, Dave? Is just get enough guys in here like Josh to where it won't really matter how good or bad your coach is. You got enough players out there to make it work regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you guys were talking about the bickering. You guys remember the bickering Bills, right? Mm-hmm. That's what they were called. Mm-hmm. What were they doing, though? They were winning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now, this is an era where there was no social media. There was just newspaper news and whatever else, but they were winning games. So nobody gave a crap about all that stuff. Now there's dysfunction that we find out has been happening with the, between Bean, McDermott, Pagula, whatever. And I don't know. I go back to when they fired McDermott. I just sat and thought on it for a while before I made any kind of content for it, because Bean's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. You know why? Because he didn't just get Josh Allen. He got Terry Pagula that brand new stadium because he got Josh Allen. And we have to think about that. That's why he got a promotion this offseason. He got Josh Allen. There's no $1 billion, $2 billion stadium that we're opening up here in a few, next month or 2 months without Josh Allen. Guarantee you. And that's because of Brandon Bean and what he did on draft day 2018. So Brandon Bean's going to be here for a long time. I'm fully I'm trying to come to grips with that one way or the other. No matter how you feel about the guy, he's just going to be here, and we're just going to have to figure out if he is actually good at his job, or a lot of it was Sean McDermott getting overpriced defensive players to play better than they actually were, or who knows. But we're going to find out this year. We're going to find out this year.
Yeah, but here comes fraudulent again, right? I mean, Keys, you talked about this like 2 weeks ago. The guy who actually scouted Josh and recommended Josh was who?
Joe Shane.
Joe Shane. Yep. Right, the guy who's now GM in New York is the guy who scouted and recommended heavily.
Had a man crush on him.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
He was going to deny. He's like, "This is my guy. Get him."
Right. And we already know after Joe Shane left, it was really Terry Gray who was doing a lot of this the scouting work,
the heavy lifting.
And, right, so we talked about this before too. So the way the structure works with the Bills and their scouting department is Terry Gray came from the Blesto program, which was a program built by 4 NFL teams designed to put together a scouting list of juniors going into their senior year that should be considered for the draft, high in the draft, like first round pick, second round pick, third round pick, right? And so because Terry Gray cut his teeth in that program, coming over to the Bills, he basically was put in a very similar situation. Run the scouting department. We're going to put together a list for Sean McDermott and Brandon Bean to look over, and then they decide who they want to pick from there. And that's really how it went. And so Brandon Bean essentially sat down with Sean McDermott, and they would run this pool of players that they got from Terry Gray and the rest of the scouting staff, and they would filter it through the locker room fit, the character of the player, and how they fit the culture, right? Those were the 3 criteria that were at the top of the list for how they chose the players in the first 3 rounds of the draft. Jim Monis told us once the Bills got to rounds 4 through 7, it was the scouts recommendations, right? Brandon Bean and Sean McDermott didn't really put too much input into that. They wanted to focus more on rounds 1 through 3.
I gotta stop.
Go ahead.
Steve! No, where you been? I missed you, son.
Oh, my God!
I missed you, sir. I missed you. Just
I need a rib. I need a steak. I need something.
One rib. Just one rib.
No, we have not talked to Steve Noble since, year 2?
It's been a while. I said he hates me. He hates me.
We got too repetitive, is what
right.
Is.
But yeah, I mean, to my point, well, not to the point, but to this comment here, don't forget when the owner wanted Mahomes and McDermott wanted Trey White. Okay, to say that, and this, don't say anything because I know how you feel. But that's to say Trey White wasn't a good pick.
Okay.
I mean, I know, but you think about how he turned out as a Bill. He was fine. It's not like he was Kyer Elam. It's not like he was, Kincaid we're still waiting on. Not like we're Cody Ford or one of those kind of guys. Mm-hmm. What I'm getting at is we got Trey White. So you got your cornerstone cornerback. Mm-hmm. Then the next year you go ahead and get Josh Allen in a quarterback-rich year. And what did they do that year? What have I been saying? Anybody watching the show for a long period of time? You want something? Go get it.
That's it.
Not with this, because you ain't got no more of that. Go get creative and go get your number 1 draft pick, your 2nd draft pick, 3rd draft pick, and say, you know what, damn it, I want this person, or I want this thing, a quarterback, a good one. And in that draft, you so happen could have said, you know what, we'll just sit put, and you still could have got Lamar. But the point is, you got Josh because you wanted Josh because Joe Shane said, "Get Josh." I watched him. I went to Wyoming. It's frozen over there. It's like Buffalo, but he could throw. The boy bad. That boy real good. And so that's how you operate this thing when you don't have any money. So when they're over here talking like Dave and you're my buddy with Bean, we would love to do this.
Bean buddies.
Bean buddies. we would love to do it, but we don't have the money because Josh Allen will figure out a different way to do it. Because all you know how to do is open up a checkbook. All you know how to do is pull out that black card and keep charging it. That thing said decline. Now what? Oh, shoot, we're done. No, you're not, because there's this other silly thing called a draft. There's another thing called pro player personnel. Scour other teams for hidden gems. People that other teams aren't using say, you know what? I really liked him. And maybe he's not the best at everything, but I could use that skill set here. We'll give you a third. We'll give you a fourth for this person that you got rotting on your bench. But people will say it all the time. He always does that. He leaves no stone unturned, blah, 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 blah. No. Why is that never elicit anything?
Right.
You keep saying it, but it doesn't do anything.
Right.
Are we sure that Mahomes would have been Mahomes in Buffalo?
No. That was my next point.
We talk about that all the time.
Are we sure that we were confident that Sean McDermott and the coaching staff the Bills had in place, Rico Dennison in 2017 would have been able to coach up Patrick Mahomes? Or did Andy Reid pull all this stuff? And I'm not saying Mahomes isn't a great talent, but I think that we got Josh Allen to learn from Brian Daboll, and I think that worked out just fine. So
if you look at Mahomes in college, Mahomes was throwing video game numbers because he was throwing the ball all over the place, just launching it, just rocket, just all over the place. Yep. People that forget, Mahomes, when he came into the league, had the strongest arm in the league. Remember that? Whose arm is stronger, Mahomes or Josh? Mahomes or Josh? Who can throw the ball outside the stadium? Mahomes or Josh? We want to see a competition. Why? Because this dude had an otherworldly arm. Mm-hmm. But see, when you look at what Josh did in college, Josh wasn't putting up those video game numbers, not because he couldn't, but that's not what they did in Wyoming. The air raid system that they ran at Texas Tech with Patrick Mahomes allows you to put 450 yards up, 500 yards up. Look at who he had as wide receivers. Look at the system that they ran. Everything was deep, and he was off the cuff. Mahomes right now, he got a little pudgy, whatever the case may be. He don't move as much, but that's what's next for Josh. I'm not saying that he's not going to be able to move, but now we got to position ourselves to where he doesn't have to.
Exactly. For me, I think it really comes down to who's making the decisions and why. And the reason I asked the question the way that I did, and I'll put the question out there again for those of you in the chat that want to take a shot at it. I asked the question: is Jim Leonhard going to get the players that he truly wants, or is he going to get the Brandon Beane version of player that Brandon Beane thinks that Jim Leonhard should have? A player that fits those three criteria that I listed, that present well to the fans, that come off very well in the locker room and fit the culture of the building that the Buffalo Bills want. Because we got to keep in mind, Brandon Beane is not just building this team for the fans. He's building this team for the owner as well. And Terry Pegula has said many times he loves these players, and some of these players he sees like sons and whatever. And he loves the camaraderie and the locker room feel. Fine, cool. But what does that mean in terms of accomplishing the goal? Because I stand on this. I will never get off of this hill. I will die on this hill. In the NFL, you are measured by what you accomplish. It is a what have you done for me lately league. Mm-hmm. And as much as we've cherished all of these winning seasons, by the time Josh Allen retires, if he goes the Dan Marino route and has no hardware to show other than an MVP award, what's that going to mean for our franchise and the legacy of our franchise when you connect that with the 4 Super Bowl losses and all of the other, big time mistakes that this franchise has made? Yeah. I don't want to be known for that. I want a Super Bowl win. Yeah. And every single coach, every single GM, every single player gets into this league to do what? To win championships. Yep. That's what the game is about, right? And don't tell me only one team can win it. we've seen what I made this point last week. We've seen what the Rams did to position themselves in the best possible way to win a Super Bowl. With this 4 years ago when they went to 2022, I think it was. So yeah, 4 years ago, right? And now here we are again. What have they done? They've positioned themselves better than any other team according to the betting numbers to win another Super Bowl, right? And again, I'm not telling Bills fans to be afraid of anybody. We got Josh Allen on the squad. We can go toe to toe with whoever you want. It don't matter. But at the same time, past Josh Allen and past James Cook, who are we looking at as that bona fide like dog? Like, it don't matter who you line this person up against, they not stopping them. Who can we say that about?
And before you go, Dave, I don't know how long you were told you're going to be on the show for. If you want to hang out, you're good. We don't want to hold you hostage.
No, I do have to run here in a minute.
Okay, yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir. I saw you like this here. Nice. You know. And also, before you go, I don't know why did Nate say we made Dave laugh? Was Dave not laugh or something? Was he devoid of humor?
I have no idea.
I've seen him laugh multiple times.
I laugh just fine.
We try, but no. Hey, anytime you want to hop off, you go do your thing. Just let us know because we're a little long-winded, as you know. But we appreciate you being on the show with us today.
Of course.
So you have any final thoughts? Matter of fact, tell us about Built in Buffalo. Tell us how it got started real fast.
Tell how it got started. So back in 2019, right before COVID happened, I actually I hurt my back at work. So I was on workers' comp for quite a while. And I'm like, let me start this whole podcasting thing, see what it's about. Obviously, during COVID 2020, everybody was sitting at home watching YouTube, right? So it kind of took off, and we kind of, branched out into Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and all that stuff. So it's just a constant grind. In every year, we've seen some good growth, and every year, and I told this to Aramis, I'm always looking to find folks like you guys that want to, have a respectable show, that want to continue to help themselves grow, but help Bills in Buffalo grow. So that's where we're kind of at now. I mean, it's getting to a point where the popularity that our Facebook page has, and it's an old head platform. It's obviously, the age bracket is from the fans from the 90s, like we talked about earlier, but we're venturing into other avenues. And I've been able to meet, a bunch of great people like you guys. Like I would have never met you guys if I didn't have Built in Buffalo. So that's kind of what my vision was for it, is to just kind of bring more Bills fans together and give them different platforms to talk about and stuff like that. So I do have, I'm gonna give myself a shameless plug. I do have a new show that's going to be starting here probably within the next week or so. It's going to be on from noon to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. It'll be live on YouTube, Facebook, and on X. So that's the only shameless plug that I want to give myself and Built in Buffalo.
Let's get a full-on plug. What's the name of the show?
It's First and Five.
Okay.
I will have a couple different co-hosts that will be on with me for 2 hours. Obviously, it'll be kind of like a radio-centric type show where we'll take breaks after a little while so that the content's just not going continuously. We'll talk about all the news and topics and stuff that's going on. And I'm looking forward to it because I get to work with a couple different guys that aren't really out in the content creating space, out in front of everybody, but they're really good at what they do and they're really insightful about football. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to growing the relationship with you guys. So you guys are here now, and I couldn't be more happy that you guys were able to actually come aboard. And we're going to do nothing but embrace you guys and, do some more collabs and stuff along the way and support you guys however we can. It's going to be huge. And I can't wait for the season to see what you guys do and what we can do together.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Dave. We'll let you get to, it's probably dinner time for you over there now, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go get that grub, man. Thank you for coming on and spending this time with us, man. We will see you next time.
Yes.
All right. I appreciate you guys. Go Bills.
See you later.
Go Bills.
And that is Dave Myers. Dave Myers, brought to you by High Mike High Tech.
On the High Mike High Tech hotline.
Yes.
Yeah.
So peeps.
Yeah.
We got to do the plug. You got to do it because we got to. He'll kill us.
He will literally kill it. No, I'm
well, he knows where you live, not me. Peeps,
stop letting my house once.
Stop letting one too many. Stop letting your whole tech become furniture. That computer collecting dust, the TV holding up another TV, that console begging for one last adventure. High Mike High Tech is a fix-it wizard that you've been waiting for. Hit the link. Tell them PPP sent you, and don't forget to mention that McDermott will never and is never been the president.
I never will be.
Never will be
ever.
ever. Let's see. So where was it? Shoot. Steve Noble.
Pull him
Steve
up.
Noble. He said, I thought I saved it. Here it is.
Enjoy this extra hour because we're usually done at
7:30.
7:30.
For you guys, this. And for you other guys at home, I work after this. So depending on my work schedule, sometimes you'll see me today.
We got a little bit of time.
I give you a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But Steve Noble said, I've been taking a PPP hiatus and would like to admit to Mr. Steve Lynn and Post Podium Podcast that I was McDermott closed-minded. This is my confession. I'm sorry for my football sins. Nope. No need. Just glad to have you back. Yeah, and sure. I saw you had to cater your son's wedding and reception. Congratulations to Steve Noble Jr. or whatever his name shall be today. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's no apologizing here. You didn't call me up my name. You've seen people do that before, and I don't care. But you, my friend, are doing what you're supposed to do. Have your own opinion and stand by it. We're good with it. Like even Tommy, Tommy, he comes in here, Weston don't count because he's a Chiefs fan. But Tommy is a Brandon Bean fan. Unapologetically. I don't ask for an apology. I don't ask for you to fix it. I don't ask for you to explain yourself. I just know you are. So that's what makes this show different than some shows that will ostracize and make you feel bad for your own beliefs, which hopefully we don't do to anybody at home. Speaking of which, can I just real fast?
Go for it.
We have birthday celebrations in order.
Whose birthday?
He said, "Whose birthday, y'all?"
Oh, no.
Well, first and foremost, happy birthday to the one and only Brandon Cleothas Bean, the third. Turned 50 today. This should be a national holiday, at least in Buffalo. Now, you know why I say that? Because I saw it. I saw it on. What? I can't do it? What? Not on this show. What?
I'm just playing.
I'm like, I was going to do it anyway. Like, what?
Right.
So this is hilarious. This is where it gets really funny. I didn't look at the comments. I wanted to hear it for you guys on X because you can still, I guess, not log in and see stuff.
What?
You can not log in and see. You just can't comment or do anything else. But I can log in. I can just pull up X and look at it.
Oh.
Twitter. Not. I don't want to get in. I don't. Not that.
Not drugs. Not drugs.
Yeah, not that or the other stuff. I can pull up X Twitter on the laptop here. And Buffalo Bills wish Brandon Bean a very happy birthday. I said, oh, these comments are gonna be good. So I'm not even gonna bother screening. The first thing I scroll down to, and I wish I could show you guys, but I'm not even gonna mess with the links and stuff like that. But the first thing that shows up, it's a picture of Josh Allen. It says, "Thanks for nothing." He has a big Photoshop pen that says "Wasted my 20s award."
Let me see if I can.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get to it.
And somebody said, and if you guys are in here and I read your comment, you can thumbs up, say that's me, whatever. I don't care. It's fine. I'm not gonna say names because I don't want, but it said, bad new uniform unveiling on a bad GM's birthday. Seems rather appropriate. That's crazy. Yeah, and so on and so forth. But
is this the one?
That's the right post, but it's by the Bills. So it's actually by the actual Bills.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can go to it.
Yeah, if you type in Buffalo Bills, it should pop up.
Okay.
It's the same exact. It's just keep going down. It's the same exact picture, but it's
so many
just
jersey pictures. Wait, nope.
No. Didn't see none of that. There it is.
This one. It's the same one.
Yeah, can you tweet it? Keep one more time. Maybe I was just stuff on there before. Keep going. Oh, I like Nebraska. My favorite.
I don't.
Probably not. Well, there it is, right there. Yep.
This one.
Yep.
This is the one you want to show?
That's the one.
I like the other one better.
Well, other one was the same thing, but this is the one that's by the actual Bills.
Okay, hold on. We'll show this one real quick, and then I want to show the other one that I was talking about. All
okay.
Right, so here, let's go. All right. Here, bam.
Okay. This is when Tommy hates me again, but I'm sorry.
All right, and let me see. I got to bring this up on stage. Bow. Okay.
Oh, we got this down too because that's been up there for a long time. Steve was going to leave. It's like, why y'all got me for so long? Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. All right. Got that one. Now let me try to enlarge this. There we go. Okay.
So how do we? Yeah, we got to scroll these comments here.
Get rid of them?
No, we got to scroll them.
Oh, our comments?
No. The comments on the actual post. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
All right, because they can see all this. Okay, cool. See the pin right there? It says "Wasted My 20s" award.
Where?
Right there.
Here?
Josh Allen? No, Josh Allen.
Oh.
It says, "Thanks for nothing. Wasting my 20s award." Keep going down. I ain't even look at these. I'm just trying to see what we got here. Anybody say anything nice to him?
You see the car crash?
Yo.
Can they see this? Yeah, they can see it.
They can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is excellent. Keep going. Dude, why did they trash your birthday with dog jerseys? Please fix this. This is terrible. Learn how to draft D linemen. You'd be nothing without Josh. Happy birthday. My Lord.
See, this is why I like the other one. You didn't have to read the comments on the other one.
Oh, you didn't? You didn't?
No.
Oh, you're talking about what the guy posted?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm about to show it to you right now. Oh wait, no.
Because the other one, I think he got destroyed. So I was like, I'm not gonna really deal with that one because I don't know what the comments on the Bills page were.
Oh, you didn't like this one? All right. So this one says it's Brandon Beane's birthday, so let's list some of his accomplishments. He wasted Josh Allen's 20s, failed to trade for a competent receiver after Diggs left till 2026, failed to trade for Jalen Waddle at the deadline because he didn't want to give away his 2026 first, where he traded back anyway, which is a great point. I didn't even think about that until I saw it here listed. He traded out of the first round 2 of the last 3 years, called in on Myles Garrett, called in on Max Crosby, called in on Trey Hendrickson, didn't bring back Mac Hollins and let him go to a division rival. For those of you that are watching us for the first time, I did report based on what I was told. It was a difference of $500,000 between what Mac Hollins wanted and what the Bills wanted to pay him. I think they wanted to pay him 2.5, and he wanted 3. And they said no.
He wanted more than 1 year too.
Right.
Yeah.
So and then of course they drafted Kyrie Elam. Look, happy birthday, Brandon Beane. The great guy. I usually try to separate the person from the job that they do. And I think the mistake that we make as fans sometimes is we mash it all together, right? We conflate the two, right? And I don't think that's fair to a human being to do that. If they're good or bad at their job, or they perform a certain way that may not be ideal for a certain group of people, that's fine. That person is doing what they believe they should be doing, and someone will come along at some point and either correct them or support them, right? And that's fine. The reason I thought that this was great is because I call stuff like I see it, and I like seeing other people call stuff like they see it. And I don't really think a lot of any of this can be argued with, because this is, aside from maybe wasting Josh Allen's 20s, I mean, that's debatable. But everything else after that, failed to trade for a competent receiver after Diggs left, failed to trade for Jalen. Like, this is all factual stuff. This happened, right? You can't debate that stuff. And I think the point I ultimately wanted to get to, with the main point was, it's not really about what our perceptions are of the process. It's really more about what the efficacy is, what the accomplishments are. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't continue to look at what we feel about the team. You know what I'm saying? At some point, we have to have some rational thought put to it, and that's part of the reason why I'm very passionate about this analytics thing that I'm building now. Is it's going to eliminate the necessity for debate. You'll be able to get a real contextual answer based off of real NFL data and settle disputes instead of having to rage back and forth on shows and podcasts about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Brandon Beane thing was kind of tongue in cheek. I wouldn't even do that if he wasn't turning 50. It's like, if it was like 48, 49, it's like, whatever.
What if it was 38?
No,
you wouldn't respect it.
No, the only reason I say 50 because that's a milestone. So I'm poking 50 years old. 50? Yeah. That's Well, that's a golden year of anniversary, I think, like, whatever. But yeah, 50, that's a milestone. It better be. We gonna be there in 8 years.
I'm not gonna like for
me.
me.
I'm gonna be 50 keys at that point.
Yo,
add 10 more to the Barbie.
I can't wait to see when that little icon changes in the comment section for you from 40 keys to 50 keys. I can't wait. I'm gonna try to find the best way possible on our Discord channel to like make that as big as humanly possible.
Big as possible.
I may just post it like 4 days in a row.
You drive by my house, you're gonna see balloons, 50 keys.
Yeah, because I mean you're significantly older than me, so I get to mess with you
in dog years. Yeah, but yeah, no, I said happy birthday because I honestly I didn't know it, but in all seriousness, I did want to say happy birthday to our resident critic, our most critical critic, Dorothy. Her birthday was last Thursday, so I wanted to say this one's for you. We appreciate you, even though we argue with you all the time, and thank you for bringing flavor to the Discord. You know, people that don't know Dorothy's backstory with us, just go look at our early videos. You'll see who commented on all of them. Good evening, gentlemen. We're like, oh God, and it's like this long, but you know, you went back and forth. You were in the weeds. I'm like, I can't.
I was in the deep end of the pool.
I said, don't do it.
Struggling for many.
Have you ever
weeks.
seen Boys in the Hood? Ricky, which you just got popped anyway. Yeah. But no, I do appreciate, and anybody that does tell us when your birthday is or was just close enough that I actually remember it. Because obviously I'm not disrespecting you, but I can't remember everybody. This ongoing, this growing community we have.
Wasn't it Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So we didn't have a show Friday and we didn't say anything on Monday. So I wanted to make sure that we covered it in great detail. For those of you that are in this Discord, especially this one over here, had to go a whole day without saying anything bad about CB47. Oh, he was in turmoil. It hurt bad, real bad.
No, okay. So this is a bet we have going with Dorothy now. Like so Dorothy calls Benford her son.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that as long as Benford can produce some interceptions, more than 2 in a season. But the bet that we have going is she believes that Benford's going to get an interception week 1 against the Texans. The wager is if he does, I have to come on this show and I have to
I'm around for it too.
I have to acknowledge and appreciate and show love to Christian Benford for being a playmaker and being the best son that Dorothy has. If Benford does not get an interception week 1 against the Houston Texans, Dorothy has to give her son up for adoption,
yes.
in which case I will then adopt him and ship him to boarding school in Russia.
Yeah, I put in there she's a self-proclaimed parent of several Bills.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about her biological son. We're not shipping him to Siberia. We're just shipping her philosophical her theoretical son.
Correct. This is not Benford's actual mother. No, we're not. This is a running joke that we are having a little bit more fun with. But for those of you watching us for the first time, and I saw you marking the folks in the chat too.
Oh, you want to get a marching order? So this is what we're gonna do.
I'm gonna that out.
I'll read the names off. So you knew what I was. You're like, this dude's lost his mind.
No, I saw what you were doing.
All right. So unfortunately, Easy G3, Tragically 716, Bob Colbath, Michael Grabowski, John Robert, V. Pichardo, Chris Kraus, Happy Wolverine. And anybody else? Yeah, nope. Okay, so for you guys, this message is for you.
All right. So here's the deal. You may have been watching Built in Buffalo for a while, but this is your first time watching us. So I'm going to explain to you the rules of our chat, okay? And these are not rules that we made up. These are rules that were thrust upon us by the powers that be, okay? Now, the way the chat works is when you enter the chat and you make a comment in our chat on this show, regardless if we read it on the show live or not, you are now part of the family. Okay. And this is not one of those, mafia, gang banging style, blood in, blood out. Like, no, this is like one of those, you know, like you're here forever and you're stuck. Like it's quicksand or whatever you can think of as far as being stuck. You cannot get out of this family. And we are all like creepily smiling at you with arms wide.
Yeah.
However you want to receive that is up to you. You can run. You can try to run.
I'll find you.
But you're stuck. So
you see Steve Noble. Yeah. He been going forever. We're like, yo, Steve, we stopped the whole show.
We found him.
He said, you know what, guys? I can't do this no longer. Welcome home, brother.
So that's how we get down, just so you know. Yeah. But
and you might want to, if you're talking about Dorothy, but you might want to plug the Discord as well.
Yeah. So for those of you who are interested in coming a little closer with us and hanging out with us, we do have a Discord chat that's available to you if you want to sign up for our membership program on our YouTube channel. I think the YouTube channel is right on the bottom of the screen there. Right. Yeah. Right.
I can't get my finger on that side of the screen.
Okay. Fair. Just point with your eyes. Right.
Sandra says she wants out. Sorry. Nope.
Yeah.
You know the rules.
All right. So yeah. So you can sign up for the membership. You get a month free to try it out and see if you like it. There's a bunch of Madden content that I usually do on there. And you'll have access to this upcoming season. You'll have access to our film review sessions. You'll have access to our press conference reaction videos that we do. So a lot of good stuff there if you're interested in coming a little closer and hanging out with us in our Discord chat. Our Discord chat is pretty open. Like we got a few of our members that usually post all of the Buffalo Bills news. So it's all pretty much like there for you. You don't have to go look in a bunch of other places. You can just come to our Discord chat and get all the latest news and reactions and stuff. And we talk about a lot more than that too. Yeah. So it really is just,
we're goofy. We know each other intimately. I mean, we know about your children. We know about your dealings, my dealings. And the thing is, the best thing about our Discord is one of us is almost always in there, one or the other, or both. So It's not like you're just talking amongst everybody else and we're just like, speak minions. No, we're in there in the trenches with you guys. We find something interesting, we'll send it to you. We have Cuz Ham. He knows who he is, and you guys probably know who he is by now. We're actually going to put pressure on him to introduce us to one question, at least a show that's thought-provoking. We have to discuss it because he asked a lot of stuff in the comments. I want everybody's opinion. I think we should put that as a title. I want everybody's opinion. And he asked a question and we talk about it. It's actually pretty interesting. It's thought-provoking and very good. But this isn't just a Buffalo Bills Discord. It can be whatever you make it. And we discuss everything.
For sure. Let's get to some of the comments that we have saved here. Anyone in particular sticking out to you?
No. Do your thing.
Do my thing?
I just picked, I put Steve over there because I didn't want to lose that we got him back just even for a moment.
All right. Well, let's are they like, did you address any of these or we just saved them?
I don't know if I addressed. We were in conversation about your topic, so I didn't want to derail it completely.
Okay.
But so a lot of these are probably weren't addressed and some of them I just kept for the names.
Okay. So we'll start with this one. Steve says, I don't hear AJ Brown needing media to give fans instructions how to see him as a legit number one wide receiver the way people like sellout Sal is doing for DJ Moore. Be honest, we don't have assets to get number ones. I don't think I would say we don't have assets to get number ones. We absolutely do. I think it just comes down to what the other team values on our roster. And let's keep this in mind. Even though we haven't seen this team be built in the traditional ways that we've seen, the Houston Texans be built or some of the Eagles be built where, their general managers are doing some wheeling and dealing with the books and cooking some things up in terms of, trades and stuff like that. I don't think that means that we don't have value in our players.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's kind of hard to say that when Matt Milano is still out there as a free agent.
No, honestly, let me clear. This is my thought on that. And I think this will lend to your point because all those guys are still out there. They're long in the tooth. They're old.
Yeah.
They don't want to go to training camp. They're waiting they're waiting opportunistically for something to open up from just slide right on in. They're not trying to work for position. They're not trying to go out there and put their bodies on the line anymore. They're trying to get to the most advantageous position for them without doing the most work. So You might see one or two come back to Buffalo. You might see, as soon as the first wave of cuts hits, you're going to see them gone. They're not going to retire for the most part because they couldn't get a job. They've been asked. I'm sure there are teams with under the table handshakes for these guys. Keep your body fresh. The stuff the Bills say. Watch some of our tape. This is what we do. This is what we're going to do. If you're interested, we have a spot open up. We're going to call you. Be ready. Their agents know these things. So it's not like these guys were bums.
Yeah.
They just are guys that are older now. I've proved what I am. Bosa. I might retire. Don't care. I proved what I am. Trey White, Matt Milano. I'm 32, 33 years old, whatever the case may be. I've done it. I don't have to prove anything else to you. You know who I am around the league. So for people that have the narrative, that drives me nuts. Look what Sean McDermott's player. No, they are not horrible. The scheme was bad, but they're backups. These guys are waiting to try to get like the Anquan. We always make fun of Anquan Bolden.
Mm-hmm.
They want to go in there and make $2 million and not do a thing. They want to go in there, and some of them might want to think I can still play.
Yeah.
But they're not going to go and work hard in training camp, move into St. John Fisher or wherever the derivative is of these other teams. They're not doing that. They're going to stay home with their family, their grandkids, if you're LeBron James, whatever the case may be.
So here I have one bone to pick with the idea of scheme change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because this is another question that I posed. And we got what, 10 minutes left? No.
Yeah, you can go. We can.
Okay.
I got to get out of here by 8:30. But
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the question that I wanted to address, as part of the main topic is, what wins more in the NFL, scheme or top tier players? Right. And I want everybody to just take a breath and just pause for a minute and let's just consider the question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's not knee jerk react. Let's consider the question. What wins more in the NFL, scheme or top tier players? While you're thinking about that, I'm going to give you this. Okay. The last 20 number one defenses in the NFL by year. Okay. 2025 was the Texans. Before that, it was Eagles, Browns, Niners, Bills in 21. Now, this is by yards allowed. This is not points allowed. And we'll get into why I pointed that out in a second. Okay. Before that, before the Bills in 2018, or I'm sorry, before the Bills in 2020 was the Rams. In 2019, it was the Bills again. In 2018, it was the Ravens, then the Vikings, then the Texans, then the Broncos, all the way back to when they beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl. Okay. Now, considering that, I also want to get into the last 20 Super Bowl champions. Okay. 15 of the last 20 Super Bowl champions had a top 10 defense in terms of points allowed. And say that again. The last 15 of the last 20 Super Bowl winners had a top 10 defense. I'll give you the teams first that didn't fit into that category. The 2006 Colts, they were 23rd. The 2007 Giants were 17th. The 2009 Saints were 20th. The 2011 Giants were 25th. The 2012 Ravens were 12th. And then most recently, the Rams were 15th in 2021 when they won it. And then in 2022, the Chiefs were 16th in points allowed when they won it. Okay, but the last three seasons, Seahawks were first in points allowed defensively. Eagles were second and Chiefs were second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the last 3 years in general, you got the first, the second, and the second overall in terms of points allowed, winning the Super Bowl. Okay, before that, the 2020 Bucks were 8th, the 2019 Chiefs 7th, 2018 Patriots 7th, 2017 Eagles 4th, 2016 Patriots 1st. Okay, now the reason that I'm presenting all of this is to now pose this question. Okay. Of all the teams that I just named just now, Seahawks, Eagles, Chiefs, Patriots, Broncos, The 2015 Broncos. Can you name me one player from that defense?
2015. Who was that? Was that the one that beat Cam Newton?
Yeah.
No.
One of them's on our team.
On our team right now?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Who's that?
Bradley Chubb.
2015? No,
He's been in the league 8 years.
No, he wasn't there in 15.
No, I'm sorry. That was who was that? Was that DeMarcus Ware? No, that
would
wasn't
have been.
Ware.
Yeah, that would have been.
Who was the other pass rusher they had across from Von Miller?
I gotta look it up.
Yeah, please look that up.
Give me a momento.
All right. Here's my point. When you think of the Broncos at that point, you think Von Miller. You can point to at least one player that stuck out like, oh, that dude's a star, right? Patriots. You knew who you had over there. You had this was 2014, so you had
Mayo and Autumn.
Gerard Mayo. You had
Brucey. Was Vrabel and Brucey still there? Or no?
Was Harrison wasn't still playing. Who else is on that defense?
Hold on, you got me. Hold on,
I'm still looking at Denver. I'm pissing away my own point right now.
I'm looking at Denver. You go ahead. You go ahead and mumble for just a minute.
Back in 2014, I probably should have had this pulled up. Okay, so let's just go to the last 5 years, right? Because we can look at the Seahawks and we can say, okay, DeMarcus Lawrence was on that defense last year. We know that. Great defensive player. We know the Eagles and who they had on defense, right? We know the Chiefs and who they had on defense, right? The point I'm trying to get to is based on what I've observed, I truly believe that winning a Super Bowl and the game of football in general at the NFL level is more about the Jerrys and the Joes than it is the X's and the O's. Okay. And I think the history of top tier defenses winning the Super Bowl supports that. And it's the same offensively. I looked up the last 20 for offense as well. The top 20, the top 20, the top 20, the last 20 Super Bowl winners and where they were ranked offensively. Same deal, right? 15 out of the last 20 Super Bowl winners had top 10 offenses. So the name of the game is not scheme. If you're talking about scheme, you want to go back to what? You can go back to the Chiefs in 2022. You can go back to the Rams in 2021. You can go to the Giants the 2 times they won it. Steve Spagnuolo and his defensive scheme, his ability to scheme things up on the spot to stop Tom Brady. That's when scheme truly won. You can even look at when did the Packers win it? The Packers that in 2010 when they won it, they were second in points allowed. But a lot of what they did that season was scheme. They had Charles Woodson, B.J. Raji, Clay Matthews, and who else?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. They didn't have a lot on that team. I mean, Tremont Williams was getting hurt all over the place. I don't even think he played in that Super Bowl. He was their other good corner. So the Saints in 2009, they were 20th. Like very few and far between. This is like 5 out of the last 20 Super Bowl winners were outside the top 10 in defense. What do you have to be top tier in defense? You got to have top tier players.
Right.
The 2 times that the Bills were ranked highly on defense, top 10, or I should say top 10, but it was when they had who? Trey White, Poyer, Hyde.
Say it. Yes, this worked out splendidly. Go ahead. Yeah, it ain't working. See,
Levi Wallace.
But yeah, no. Joey Hatch. When I went to call in, they tried to put me in a podcast. Is that what it's supposed to do, or am I supposed to talk to you like a phone call? No, it puts you in the back room and.
Yeah, so you can choose how you want it to be. If you want the camera to be on, you can leave the camera on and we can see you, or you can turn the camera off, and when we bring you on stage, it'll just show this generic avatar, and you can still be talking to us that way. It's up to you.
Yep. And no, I think if we're talking Bills centric, it's a little of both for me. I don't know who we are, because we have guys playing so out of position. I feel like this scheme will present the Bills with more Jimmys and Joes. Because I think, when we're sliding Cole Bishop into his natural alignment. We're sliding Rousseau into his natural alignment. We're moving in Landon Jackson and people like that who were out of position because if you look at what Landon Jackson was asked to do, or if you look at the scouting report, when he was coming out of Arkansas, it said he plays a 4-eye, which it triggers in my head, he got attention for playing 4-eye. They say he should be really good in a 5-tech. But to me, I saw you play 4-eye. So I anticipate that's what you're going to be adequate at when you come to the Bills. Maybe you're not going to be a 10-sack guy. Maybe we don't see anything from him that illustrates he's going to be a 10-sack guy anyway. So, Terrell Bernard, like we all talk about, always hurt. Why? And you've always said it, because he's too little.
Yeah.
You got Dorian Williams, who's out of position trying to cover. Why? When he's a Scud missile. We've seen it. You got Caleb Elam-Mazur, who isn't great in pass protection, but he's a hard-nosed player, and he's got that mentality to be great because he doesn't care who he's talking to. You're going to do it. I'm doing what I want to do. He told us to Brady. He was in his huddle. Why are you in my huddle? As a rookie, I'm scared of this man. And I'm 42. I'm not small, but he's a rookie telling your new boss, get the hell out of my space. I got this. And you ain't even a starter. So, yeah. I mean, when I listen to your premise, I understand it and I'm with you, because I do think you need key players to do things, but I also think that the scheme will uncover and unlock some of the things that we thought we should just cast off. I think that's the difference in our specific system, because we have a lot of young guys that we don't know what they are.
So it's basically the Khalil Shakir argument, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because when we saw Khalil Shakir catching passes past 7 yards from the line of scrimmage,
right,
it's like, wow, this dude's amazing. Keep feeding him, right? But after they changed it, no, we're gonna make you work for those 7 yards every single time you touch the ball. Now, then it's not the same. No. Yeah. I get that, and I think that's right. I think that's the most objective approach to the question, because history shows us you win Super Bowls both ways, right? And whether you want to try to fold into what's popular and be a part of that 15 group that wins a certain way, or you want to be a part of the 5 that won the other way and won it with scheme, or what could be perceived as, more reliant on scheme.
Yeah.
It works both ways. Ultimately, I think as fans of the team, we just want the damn ring at this point. However you get it done, just get it done. But I mean, it's still the off season, and we're still, grasping and clawing for talk topics.
Yeah. And we're not going to get the answers to this in training camp.
Exactly.
People are like, oh, did you see? Yeah, we saw it last year. Oh, did you? What about? Nah, we know. Yeah. Well, Keon's, I just got to see him play against other teams.
Right.
All the guys. I want to see them all. I don't care. Matt Perino and Ryan, they can't report where they're playing, who they're playing against, what the scheme is, what they did, but they can give you, ambiguous hints at what you might see. But at the same time, it's all controlled. It's all controlled. Defense is always the better side in training camp, because they have to learn less. Even though it's a new system, you have to learn less. Even though the offense it has a basic working knowledge of Joe Brady and how he operates, because everybody except for DJ Moore and one other person has played in this system, which is, I guess, Alec Anderson, rather, because he's just been on the bench. But even he has a working knowledge of how the game is played. But defensively, by nature of the game, defense is ahead. So when you see, oh man, DJ Moore's having a hard time hooking up with Josh Allen. Oh man, James Cook reading the wrong hole. Who cares? Because we know it. You guys have watched the show. I'm not really high on DJ Moore. And I'm really high on James Cook. But the same, it equals itself out. We've seen them on the field. We've seen them in the battle. And if they're not doing what we've seen for years, it's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
What changed? Why are we not working with these guys? So, I mean, for me, the offense, I'm not too worried about. Defense is, for me, scheme-wise, I really am interested in seeing what they do with the players that we've cast off as trash, including myself. They're players I'm like, why we have him? Why is he playing? Why is he seeing the field? But I want to see a player be like, oh, that's it. That's what he can do in the NFL. I want to see that. Yeah. I don't need another year of, defending Greg Rousseau and his elite run stuffing tendencies. I don't need another year trying to justify with all this terminology why the nose tackle does this and not that, or why, I don't want to do that. I want people to just watch it and say, aha, there it is.
The Seattle Seahawks last season had 47 sacks. Do you know how many sacks the Bills had last season?
What was it? 30 something?
36.
36, yeah.
Literally 11 sacks away from having as many as the last Super Bowl winner.
Mm-hmm.
11 sacks to me is what? You add on a full season from Ed Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
You add on the impact of Bradley Chubb and maybe the random sack from a linebacker, a corner,
Bernard, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bills could absolutely be there with a much more attacking approach. We saw last year. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when the blitzing went up and they started playing more 3-3-5 and they started, really trying to confuse the line of scrimmage with the way they lined up and all that kind of stuff,
mm-hmm.
it made a bigger impact, especially in the second half of games. It was like it kind of came off as, okay, we got a little bit of a beat now on what you're trying to do offensively. Right. We know how to attack your offensive line. Now we're going to start doing some crazy stuff in the second half. You know what I'm saying? And it worked, so what's funny about that is everything that we saw last year from Sean McDermott in terms of the adjustment to a much more attacking style and switching things up with the formations and all that kind of stuff. That's stuff that you and I have been asking for since before we even started doing a podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're like staring at Jim Leonard like, you gonna do the thing?
Do it.
You gonna do the thing?
Do it.
You gonna do it? You gonna do it?
You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
And that's I don't think it's an unrealistic expectation.
Right.
And I think in years past, expecting an 11 sack jump probably would have been outside the realm of reasonable expectation.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing that we're putting defensive players in a better position than what they've been in before, B, the mentality of the defense being much more attacking and penetrating and getting to the point of attack faster. You know what I'm saying? I think that brings, as I begin to think about that, I kind of stopped for a moment there because I started to kind of realize what the possible downside is to that. Mm-hmm. And I think we've talked about this already. When you play that style of defense, you're going to have much more of a peaks and valleys type of season. Right. And that's worst case scenario. That's worst case scenario is that you have peaks and valleys throughout the season. Best case scenario is you become the Denver Broncos and you're able to just attack and you're so good at attacking that people can't take advantage of you. Right. That's the hope. That's what we hope to see. But again, I think I still need to see how this defensive tackle situation is going to work out, bro, because if you were to and they've sat me down. Okay, we got a caller in here. Give me 1 second. We'll get to you, Ransom. What we have is the Bills telling us it's going to be better. We got Jim Leonard. Here's his credentials. We're going to switch things up. We're going to attack. It's going to be better. And yeah, the Bills are not actually saying it's going to be better, but by them firing the defensive minded head coach and then hiring this guy, they have to think it's going to be better. Mm-hmm. Right. Let's get to the caller here. Ransom, what's up, man?
How you doing, brother?
What
Good.
Boy?
What's on your mind?
I just wanted to say I love the content. I love the show. I try to watch as much as I can, and I just have two things I want to say, and I want to get what you think about it.
Go for it.
Do you think that Joe, the new defensive coordinator, got dumped a bunch of junk on him because this is not his defense and these are not the pieces? Or do you think it's just how it happened because we don't have money? And do you think if we would have got Jalen Waddle last year, we would have been in the Super Bowl or at least beaten the Broncos. That's all I got to say.
All right, thanks, Ransom.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I do believe that Jalen Waddle in that, like I said before, I believe if Keon Coleman would have been in a position to make that catch, he would have made the catch. Jalen Waddle, I think, would have burned. He would have smoked that guy, and it would have been a wide open catch for a touchdown. So I do believe that in that instance, Waddle would have made a difference.
100%. For the first question, I think it's both. I think it is a combination of these are the players that were thrust upon Leonard, and this is what we have because of salary cap reasons. Mm-hmm. It's tough because while we have hope and we have reason to have hope based on Leonard's resume that he can turn lemons into lemonade. And not saying the Bills players are lemons, but you get my point. Like the Bills defense last year was atrocious, and now we have an opportunity to be better, right? But is this the best possible set of players that Jim Leonard could have had this season?
Right.
And I think the answer to that is absolutely no.
Mm-hmm.
We could have had better players. There were better players available for sure. There's a great player available now in Vita Vea. What are we going to hear about that guy? We already had to hear about, we called in on Max Crosby, we called in on Myles Garrett, we called in on Trey Hendrickson. Those were on the table.
We do no stone unturned.
Right? So you can't say that there weren't better players available. You can't say that there weren't opportunities to put the roster over the top.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of whether or not they wanted to make the financial sacrifices and the draft capital sacrifices in order to make that happen.
Yeah. I mean, to that first point, I think I spoke on it a little bit earlier. I'm of the mind that one man's junk is another man's treasure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at people being slotted into the right positions, and I think they'll look a lot better than they did before. I'm thinking of guys like Terrell Bernard. I'm thinking of guys like even Christian Benford. I'm thinking about Cole Bishop in year 3. I'm thinking about Ed Oliver finally getting a chance to have one-on-ones at some point. But I'm also thinking about Leonard's history. I did numbers, and he's only had 2 true nose tackles, two through one techs in his whole coaching career, including college. He doesn't do a one tech. He doesn't do nose tackles. That's just what he does. So I lean myself to just don't put Deion Walker there. That's just a no. You have Zion Logue, which nobody cares about. You have Fedarian Mathis, which I don't think is really a one tech. But these are guys that you don't really need to play one tech if I'm watching what Jim Leonard's done historically. I was watching something earlier about Linval Joseph, and they were talking about how disgusting, how nasty he was on the field and how angry he was all the time. It's just like, hate you angry. And I'm thinking we had that here, even at 35 years old. Now how much easier would Ed Oliver's job have been with earlier-ish Linval Joseph or Deion Walker with an earlier that kind of player that just that gets mad when you're not triple teaming, when he can't find another head to crack. Because Ed Oliver is too fast. By the time the person gets out Linval and tries to get Ed, he's already gone. So these are the instances where I'm saying another man's trash because you didn't scheme him up. And that goes back to your question, scheme. A lot of positions were fill-ins. A lot of positions were, we got to glue it together. I'm not going to say DeMar Hamlin, that kind of stuff, but he's a special teamer. He was a good one, Cam Lewis's and Jamarcus Ingram's and stuff like that. Whereas, like you said, you could find better players, but you just chose not to. Whether McDermott really wanted Jamarcus Ingram or he was just trying to pitch a fight with Brandon Beane, they weren't on the court. So in my mind, the defensive coordinator, which is McDermott in this case, he didn't feel comfortable.
Right.
So he was protecting everybody. He was in protecting mode.
Yep.
And he didn't let him go play because he didn't have faith in him.
Exactly.
He told you guys that.
Yep.
So with this guy, Jim Leonard, let him sprinkle a little spice in his recipe here.
Yeah.
I mean, you already got the sauce. Just let him put his little spices in there. And I think you'll see a much better defense, and I think you'll see a much better product on the field on Sundays, Thursdays, and Mondays.
Yeah, I think one of the things that you said for many years now has been iron sharpens iron, and iron cannot sharpen iron when it's all covered in plastic and bubbles,
Right.
right? Like it's not possible because you're doing so much with your secondary to protect your defensive line, and your defensive line is trying to protect the linebackers and all. If all you're trying to do is make sure that nobody on defense looks bad,
right,
everybody's gonna look bad. Like at some point, the dam is gonna break.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so, transitioning to where we are now, where like we're gonna attack, and you're gonna have a responsibility. And if you don't do your responsibility, guess what? We got somebody behind you that can.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the process that begins the culture of iron sharpens iron, because it's no longer, 7 yards off the line of scrimmage, guys. Let's give them, like, we don't want to get beat deep. Like, no.
Right.
See ball, get ball, right? See gap, attack gap, right? Get penetration, meet them in the backfield every single chance you get, right? And if you're a defensive lineman that can do that, great. You stick around. You can teach the players behind you what you do to allow you to stay on the field, right? What does that do? That makes everybody else behind you better. The players that can't do it, you got to go. Let's get other players in here that can. They may not be able to do it at the same level as the starters, but they're developing on that track.
Yeah,
right.
And that's the thing. I'm tired of the conversation that we've had. And I'm not attacking other podcasts, but I've heard it all over the place where they're saying, your 6 wide receiver has to be a special teamer. Your this has to be that. Who cares? Because going back to the old days, Steve Tasker was probably the only one that you're a special teamer. You're making it. Don't worry about it, because he was the best at it at the time. Most tenacious. He had the mentality for it. But now you got these all-star talents out here, and you're trying to figure out their paths to the roster. I don't care what their path to the roster is. This for them to figure out, not the coaches, for the players to figure out. If you build your team the right way, what happens is the top 6 win, the last 2 are cut, or whatever the case may be. It's not, this guy is good on special. Keon Coleman, you're the 5th wide receiver. You're playing special team. Sorry.
Right.
DeMar Hamlin, you're the 3rd safety. You're playing special team. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're not here. And you hear everybody talk about, I'm going to keep McCole Hardman over White Steve or whatever the case may be because he's a better special teamer. I couldn't care less, because you got Tyler Bass. The rules are as stated. Kick the ball through the end zone. Where's the ball go to? 35, 40? If they return the ball, where's it usually start anyway? 28, 30? You lose 5 yards. If you have this defense, iron sharpens iron's defense, you mitigate that. Guess what? If you have a team go 70 yards every drive, is that a touchdown? No. Field goals. They're all field goals. And our offense is good enough to score touchdowns. Who wins? Us.
Yep.
So when you're talking about the back end of the route, I couldn't give a damn about the back. That's why I don't care about training camp.
Right.
Because Josh Allen ain't trying. James Cook ain't putting his best stuff out there. Ed Oliver ain't doing nothing. You see guys out there who's dressed, who's not. That's all that matters. The rest of the guys, Tyrell Savers, he's a story. Cool. He was a revelation because he had a shot. But should he have had a shot in his offense? No. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but because they said we got Savers back there, we're just going to chill out on wide receiver. We know what we got. They don't, though. We know. And I would love to have seen, a Waddle or who else, Jerry Jeudy or whoever else. BTJ. Oh, he's not good in Jacksonville. How you know he's not good in Buffalo? How do you know these things? Fans are saying, well, you don't want that guy because you're programmed to say, well, we can't afford him. We don't have a spot for him because he doesn't play special teams. Who cares?
Right.
Because that's how you end up with Darnell Savages. That's how you end up with Dane Jackson's on the field in those inopportune times, because they can play special teams. But guess what? You get a Geno Stone or somebody like that who can't play a lick of special team, but let CJ GJ go down, let Bishop go down, and Geno Stone comes in there and gets you a pick 6. Somebody that has some kind of acumen, somebody that has some kind of prove it on the field. Because you're looking at these other teams, they're stacking players upon players upon players upon players upon players, and we're like, well, how they make the roster? That's not for us to figure out. That's for the players to figure out.
Exactly. What I really like the idea of considering is, and there might be some of you that like roll your eyes or get pissed off at me for saying this, but why is Nady sliding in a white Steve Gosner kind of mention in our chat right now? Right. White Steve!
He said it.
Interesting thought, though, is would Joe Brady be able to enjoy the benefits that he has now without the culture that Sean McDermott set up for him in the first place? Right? Because part of the reason for the chaos around Rex Ryan, who was widely regarded as a player's coach, was while you had dogs in the building, you had like star level players, superstar level players in the building. Your culture was chaos. Your locker room was chaos. There was a lot of guys doing a lot of stuff that they didn't need to be doing, right? And now here we come again with another players coach or players coach type of coach in Joe Brady. But now he has the structure that he can kind of lean on, where all the guys in the building right now are still familiar with and abide by that original culture, because it's all they know, right? And obviously this year is going to have a little bit of a Joe Brady twist on it. But the reason I think this is an interesting thought is this probably would have been the best year to bring in a guy like a Trey Hendrickson or a Max Crosby or a Myles Garrett or any other superstar level player. Why? Because the second you do that, you do two things. You not only show the rest of the league that we can attract these type of players and get these type of players, but when that player comes in and he sees the culture of the locker room, he's not in a position to be like, no, I want to change this. Right. Like, you can't. Everybody else there is in it. Right. So you either acclimate or you gonna get made to be the bad guy. You gonna get the AJ Brown treatment real quick, or you gonna get the Stephon Diggs treatment real quick.
No books,
right? And I think things like that are very, subtle but strategic in nature get missed. And I don't even know if it, like, I can't say, whether or not that was considered or weighed in the options, that we saw play out. But to me, that makes a lot of sense. You take advantage of the advantages you have while you can, because you're not always going to have them. 3 years from now, after we've figured out whether or not Joe Brady can actually coach and win Super Bowls, we're going to be in a position where we've had a players coach running this whole deal for 3 years. What's that locker room going to look like? Is the culture going to be the same? They're not going to have the same coaches and the same structure running the whole deal because Sean McDermott's not there anymore. So we can't say the culture is going to be the same. Let's just try and bring in big dogs in year 3 of Joe Brady. Yeah. It's going to be very different then, right? So this kind of folds into and we can kind of start to close up now, but I think this kind of folds into one of the overarching themes that you and I have been talking about for a very long time, which is you have to take advantage. You have to strike while the iron's hot, basically. And I said this last week. I said part of the general manager's job is to understand when those moments are and understand how to attack it, right? And the example that I use is the Rams, right? When the first time they won the Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford, they signed OBJ and they traded for Von Miller, right? They saw an opportunity to F them picks. We're going to get talent on the team that can help us get over the hump and capitalize on having top tier talent that can overcome schematic flaws. And we're going to get the job done. And they did, right?
They bet on themselves.
Huh?
They bet on themselves.
Exactly. And now they're doing it again. Right. So those are, and the reason I use the Rams as the primary example is the first time they won it was at SoFi Stadium. This year, the Super Bowl is at SoFi Stadium. And now they've loaded up again to make their run. So I would like to see Brandon Beane. And this is speaking to Ransom's second question about Jalen Waddle. I would like to see Beane at the half point of the season make some kind of definitive move like that to say, we're betting on us. Never mind any of this. I want to, because here's the other point. And I know I'm starting to ramble now, but just one quick point on the first round pick stuff. The reason why you move out of the first round is to avoid guaranteed contracts. And I'm just saying from a Brandon Beane standpoint, none of it has anything to do with talent, right? All of these teams are taking guys in the first round that they believe in. Why? Because they know how to use them, right? And it's not like the Buffalo Bills don't know how to use any of the players they draft in the first round. It really comes down to money. And the other side of that is, if you don't have a guaranteed contract, you're coming in with the mentality they want you to come in with, which is, I got to earn everything I got now because my contract ain't guaranteed. Right? Which fits the culture. Which, again, back to the beginning of what we started talking about in this show today, a lot of the stuff you see with this team is for a reason. It's by design. It's not an accident that they just trade back. It's not random.
Yeah.
But I digress.
And somebody to his comment, Joey Hatch. Yeah, I knew him. Like Ransom. No, who's that?
Yeah, no, I just went by the name.
Yeah,
there.
Like, it's a different guy.
Okay.
Thanks for taking my call and allowing me to ask you guys questions. Appreciate it. And always go Bills 12th man Mafia. Man, listen.
Always.
Please do it. Thank you. Thank you for calling in. You know, I will say this though. I'm glad that
it's usually just Nico.
Nico's like, damn it, I missed my shot. It was my hotline. But you know, for the 462 people in this thing, we really appreciate you guys. Yes. And if you have not, venture over to our YouTube page and maybe hit that subscribe, maybe hit that thumbs up, maybe
or hit the like button where you at now. It don't matter. Like, listen, you can watch us wherever you want to watch us. It helps us if you hop over to YouTube. But listen, we are down for whatever you're comfortable with. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the heart button, whatever platform you watching this on right now, hit it.
You gotta get that neurological programming, yes, because Nady liked when you said that earlier.
Neuro-linguistic programming?
Yeah, neuro-linguistic. That's right. You know, and also for you guys, 457 people in the chat. He's been talking a lot. I've been talking a lot. I mean, I have this, but it's not quite what it should be. What you guys don't understand is, let me just look to the side here. Move this over here. Get you some of that. You know why? Reese tea is not what you're used to. Reese tea is 1 part refreshing, 1 part delicious, and 2 parts of healthy. See, I didn't drink Reese. That's why I don't know how to count on my fingers. But that's what you can expect. 4 ingredients when you get this Reese tea is no added filters, no added things that they don't want to tell you about. I don't drink tea, but let me tell you, I will endorse this tea because it's good. It's really good. Get yourself some. Head over to your local supermarket if you're in the Buffalo region or Delta Sonic for sure. And also, there's a link in the description below. Let the people over at Reese know that we sent you to them, especially the 460 people in this chat here. You can get yourself, if you're new, only if you're new. If you've been watching this show for any period of time, you're not allowed to get individuals. But if you're new to this show, you can get an individual, not on me, but because I said you're allowed to, and we'll sell it to you. Get yourself a taste. You're going to be hooked. Make sure that wherever you get the individual, they got a case because you're going to want to buy that too. But don't listen to me. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to anybody else but your taste palate. Get over to Reese. Tell them Post Podium Podcast sent you.
All right. This is the time of the show where I'm gonna go back to the competition. I'm gonna see if I can get this done now. We're gonna go. So what we used to do very early on.
Who was that used to challenge you?
Who was it? Was it Mark?
No. I don't know.
It wasn't Mark.
Who was?
It was somebody. That
yeah,
used
it was
to
somebody
hold
like,
to
yeah,
it.
okay.
It might have been Nate. Nate had been with us forever.
Actually, might have been Nate.
Yeah. All right. Well, Nate, here's your chance, bro. I am going to go back to the competition of trying to do our close within 90 seconds. All right. So here we go. Oh, that's the wrong. That's not the right one.
You didn't start yet.
I didn't start yet. Hold on. All right. Okay. So if you're hearing that music, that means it's time for us to jump out the window. The first thing I need everybody to do is whatever platform you on, hit a thumb, hit a heart, hit a like, hit a something. Just to show support, not just for us, but for the Built in Buffalo Network for bringing us to you. Thank you to Dave once again for bringing us onto the network and giving us this great opportunity to talk to a much bigger pool of Buffalo Bills fans. We love y'all. Thank y'all for spending this time with us. If you're interested in getting into our Discord chat, or if you're interested in any of our other membership content, hop over to our YouTube channel right here at the bottom, right there.
That was very good.
And go ahead and sign up. Again, it's you get a free month. It's only $1.99. That's it, just $1.99. But you get a free month to check us out and see if you like it. Make sure you hit us up. Our email is in the description of this video. Contact us, okay? That's all I got. Our Post Podium Podcast Fantasy Football League is all filled up. So we don't have anything going on with that. So Mondays and Fridays, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. is when you can catch us. We will be back on Fridays next week, right? So not this coming Friday, but the following Friday. So the next time you will see us is next Monday. Make sure you check that out. Other than that, it's been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the All Truth, No Sodium Takes. I've been your co-host, Aramis.
Bill, make it regular lane. 40 keys. See you later.
Where is that button?
It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
It does count.
He didn't find a button. We were done.
Okay. Bye, y'all.